I put a spell on you. Can't see your mind. You better stop the thing you're doing. I said, watch out, I ain't lying. Yeah. I ain't gonna take none of your fooling around.
Oh, yeah. What's going on?
I ain't gonna take none of you putting me down. I put a spell on you.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Airtime in 3 minutes, 30 seconds.
All right.
Dragon Keeper, bite me. I'm digging it today. Here, let me find you something else. You didn't like the walking in sunshine? Here, all right, let's do this one.
That's because he's never walking on sunshine.
Hey, no, he would say it's trash. Sunshine is trash. Sunshine's trash.
Call me your caller, baby. Call me your call. Call me your caller, darling. I know who you are. Come up off your caller chart. I know where you coming from.
Call me.
Call me on the line. Call me anytime. Call me, my love.
Yeah.
You can call me any day or night.
What?
Stop wobbling around. You're getting your barbecue sauce on me as you bob your head
Whatever.
from left to right.
I know. Sorry. I'm eating lunch. That's why I'm late.
With some people, that's a 45 minutes, 1 hour production.
I ate lunch in like 6 minutes today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to all the gaseous noises that are about to come out of you.
Hey, Beck, if you're listening, the audience wants you to sing a song live today. That'd be brilliant.
I would enjoy that.
Airtime, 70 seconds. Welcome in, everybody. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for hanging out in our green room. 70 seconds to air here on the stage of Talking Trek.
Whoa, he speaks the language of love. Whoa, amore, chiamami, chiamami. Whoa, appelle-moi mon chéri, appelle-moi.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, anywhere. Anytime, any place, anywhere, any day. Oh Lord. Call me, my love.
basically nighttime on the East Coast. I keep messing up my time zones. Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the show. My name is UltimatDJz. This is Talking Trek Live, Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast as we broadcast inside the Culver City, Scopely, Los Angeles, Worldwide Gaming Incorporated Megalodon Extravaganza headquarters. All right, where we are sitting with a number of guests today. We are very, very excited about it and glad to welcome you in to this very exciting edition of Talking Trek inside Scopely's headquarters. Let's kick it off with a Talking Trek server sound off, as we always do. Trash Keeper from server 53, welcome in. Raj on server 9, Noon Whistle on 29, Tarpy on server 70, Dr. Phil on 401, thank you very much. NCC US Viva, greetings from European 143, officially the worst performing server at incursions of all time.
Oh, DJ.
No, he wrote it. That's what he says. Greetings from European 143, we're the worst.
Well, call yourself out.
Enterprise Actual on 13, thank you. Archery on 131, thanks. What's going on? Silverhawk on 49, Gradumacated on 26, Jace on 44, DVD Viper hanging out in the chat over in the EU, Aiden Games on 53. What's going on? Papa Smurf, server 61, Benny Hills Ghost on server 42. Thank you. Let's see who else we got. Yeah, I was a jerk. I did something terrible on official. Yesterday, Hammy, I did something terrible on official. Oh, he's not on. There we go.
What did you do?
What did I do?
Yeah, come on, man. That's not cool.
I'll tell you about it in a second. Look at the worry on his face right now. He looks terrified.
He shouldn't be surprised.
Graduated on 26. What's going on? Thank you so very, very much. Oh, wait, what did I do? Matters, did I type something wrong? Oh, Hammy shared it. Yes, I know. Isn't that great? Guru on 42, Hunter on 28, Stewart on 133, Lieutenant George on 74, Jurassic JC on server 49. Butts loves it. Dragon Keeper is going to change his name to Trash Keeper. I love it. Hammy is quiet. Yeah, I think I didn't hit the right button, but I'll get him fixed up here.
Am I okay?
Yeah, you're good. We had a last-second adjustment here.
We're going to gain up your mic.
All right. You want to sing to us now?
Can I pop some peas?
Oh.
Pop some peas.
He's good. Thank you so much for that. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is UltimatDJz. Appreciate you guys being here. To my right, your left, or somewhere upside down, Griffin is hanging out
How you
with us.
doing? Happy Wednesday, everybody.
And, of course, over here in the hot seat to our right, community manager, Obsidian Hamster. Hammy, as we affectionately call him. How are you doing today, bud?
I'm doing great. Really happy to be here. Really happy to be at the Scopely HQ. I don't get down here very often, but I'm having a blast so far. I believe you guys are having a blast as well.
It's been a very lovely trip. We've had a lot of fun, and of course, it's always a pleasure when we get to come down because, really, truthfully, we can all joke and say what we say, but Scopely really does roll out the red carpet for us every single time that we're down here.
They're very nice. We're very well taken care of.
It's
and there's nothing like spending money in game at Scopely HQ.
No.
The CFO just came in and gave me a big high five and walked right back out.
He literally said, "Ooh, this would be a great bit. I'm going to spend money in the game, in the building." I'm like, "How is that a great bit?" He was like, "The money has to travel less distance."
It's the most supportive environment you will have anywhere. So, feel free to stop on by anytime.
Walk
and make
right
more
over to
purchases.
Game Design and swipe a credit card and bam, right?
Yep,
That's how it works?
High fives all around.
Not quite.
But we have been very well taken care of here, and it's always a nice time when we come out, whether we disagree or agree on whatever it is that's going on in the game. I truly do appreciate and treasure the professional relationship that we've got with our comrades here, and I really do appreciate the relationships and the friendships that we have developed over the years, Griffin, because as a result of that, we're able to come here, broadcast live from inside the top secret facility,
the Lion's Den, if you will.
Yeah, really, truthfully, and listen, they used to be very protective of what we would do in this building. as far as video content and taking pictures.
Oh, they
and-
still are. You just
and
do it all anyway.
Stealing documents and things.
Whoa.
They used to really care about that stuff. Now everything's fine. You don't have to worry about it. But stealing mugs, don't know anything about that. But in all seriousness, what we do have today for you guys is a lovely panel of guests. Not just one or two, Hammy, but because of those relationships that we've been able to forge over the years, a lot of your team who is very involved in active content that we're playing in the game right now are ready to come in and talk to us about it.
I would say, actually, real quick, that it's a veritable smorgasbord of team members that will be showing up today.
Yes, and not only sitting down, but coming on camera with us, answering questions that the community has submitted. So we're very, very excited about that. Dark Zephyr says, what was the bombshell news? Well, that's something that we are going to spend a little bit of time with Hammy on a little bit later in the show, because that happened yesterday, and there is 2 entire shows, Zephyr, dedicated to that. Yesterday, the YouTube, is that up now, Hammy? Did that actually get reposted? Is that
I don't
live
know if
now?
it's up yet. It is up. I think
Okay.
right now it's live on YouTube.
Fantastic. So on the official Star Trek Fleet Command YouTube page, there is a live show. It lasted right at about an hour yesterday with myself and Griffin and Beck and Shauna Benson, which was a great, great show. We spent about an hour and released the information that is going to directly the narrative for the arc that is coming in the month of August.
For the first time ever, 2 weeks in advance of Arcfall, we already know kind of the theme and the skin overlay of the arc.
And then last night, poolside on top of our rooftop poolside bar hotel, which was extravagant, last night we were able to broadcast live and did a roundtable discussion. And that podcast is now up as well. It is up on Twitch, and it is up in iTunes and Google Play and iHeartRadio and Spotify and Pandora and all the places that you guys like to listen to our podcast. It is now up as
It would
of
have been
this
up
morning.
last night, but DJs went out to dinner, didn't invite me, and then fell asleep.
DJ, how could you?
I kind of forgot he was here, Hammy.
Oh,
See, you see
man.
how I'm treated?
Oh, man.
We worked all day long. I set everything up. I take everything down. I'm just like, hey, DJ, I'll be in my hotel. Just call me when you're ready to go to dinner. And then an hour turns into 2, into 3, into 4. And at 10 o'clock, I text him, hey, you must be hungry by now.
He did. He said, he's like, you've got to be starving. And I'm like, oh, crap.
He literally forgot me in the hotel.
For shame. For
What the heck,
shame,
man?
DJ. For shame.
That's a bad kitty cat.
Man.
I sincerely apologize.
Griffin, I'm gonna make it up to you. Griffin, I'm gonna make it up to you. I'm taking you out to happy hour tonight. We're gonna have some fun. DJ won't be around to ruin everything.
Thank you,
And
Obsidian
we're gonna
Hamster, for being
have a good time.
Thank you
we're gonna
for
have
being
good
a
time.
decent human being
Thank
who's
you.
thoughtful and
Thank you.
caring
I try.
and appreciative of his friends.
Unfortunately, Hammy,
Unlike
he
other
flies out at like 4 or 5 o'clock today. So
Nope. I'm here till 11.
Oh, well, that's nice. Thank you for throwing saltwater tap at me. All right, listen, we have a lot to get to. We actually are running a few minutes behind. What we are going to do here today is sit with many members of the design team, whether it's game design, event design, live ops, pods, and we actually have some really interesting news about how you guys have changed some processes. I actually remember Echo coming onto the show a long time ago, Hammy, and saying, hey, there's going to be some things that we are starting to do differently as a team to try to catch some more stuff that falls through the cracks when it comes to event rewards or event design and metrics. And to our delight, arriving here and seeing how some of this stuff is working, you guys have actually implemented a lot of that. And even further, which is exciting, you guys are prepared to tell us about that today.
Yep.
And so there is some really interesting things about how these arcs are built that we're going to share with you guys today that is different than what our traditional understanding has been.
Knowledge will be dropped.
Yeah. So as a matter of fact, what we're going to do here at this particular moment is probably go ahead and welcome in our first guest. Now, Hammy's going to be kind of popping in with us, and we are going to talk more about Galaxy Quest coming up later in the show. But our first guest is one that needs no introduction. He has been on our show before, and he has actually been in a live in-person guest on the podcast. here in Los Angeles. Last time we were out here, I think last September or November, he was actually here and he did the show with us. You guys will remember some of the guests that stopped by that day. Echo was with us, and this guy has been around for a hot minute and has worked his way in event design and building this stuff, and actually has been kind of at the epicenter of some of the stuff that we have changed around when it comes to how these arcs are being built and so forth and so on. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to welcome to the stage for the first time ever on video, by the way,
OG himself.
the OG himself. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you to Scoobs. What's going on, buddy? Welcome, man.
Glad to be here.
Very glad to have you, buddy. Listen, last time we sat together was over a year ago in that cool studio where we saw all this equipment that we ended up having to buy because it was great equipment. That's where you sat with us and for the very first time had appeared on our show, and we had talked about some of the events and stuff that you were working on at that time. Since that time, you guys have really changed how you guys have built arcs and how you're designing arcs and things like that. And so what I want to kind of inform the people of here to start with is that you have been, for lack of better terms at this particular point, and we're going to break this down in a moment, but you are the arc runner for the entire Mirror Universe.
Correct.
All of the content, not just this month, but last month and upcoming content, this is your feature. You own it. And so as we were talking with the audience here just a few moments ago about the structural changes in how arcs are prepared, I'd like to start with that because we have in the audience or in the community, we have a very specific way that we understood you guys writing stuff. That has really fundamentally changed. And we kind of didn't know the full extent of that until our visit here. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that. Your role in the Mirror Universe was presumed to be that of Arc Runner for Mirror Universe Part 1, because you were communicating with us a great deal last month. But that has, the terminologies and roles have changed a little bit. Like in the old days, I would have called you Arc Runner. But I remember, as we had mentioned, our Echo telling us that there was talk about putting more than one person on a specific arc month to month.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that new change? What was your role in that? Like, how does this work now?
Yeah, so before we used to have just a dedicated, I would call, instead of an arc runner now, kind of a month runner, right? They ran the month. So anything new coming out, and as you know, comparative to other games, Star Trek is very good at coming out with new content. It's very fast-paced. I sometimes call working here like a hyperbolic time chamber, right? Is 12 months working here, you go through 12 content cycles, whereas in another company you might go through 2 or 3.
Wow.
So that's how fast we are working here. And so with that speed, it made a lot of sense. And just like how Mr. Tiger's been on the show, he represents all of game design. He's the arc runner of game design. I am the arc runner for the arc for LiveOps event. We do event store, stuff like that. And so, yeah, that's my position now. So I'm kind of overseeing the monthly runner for last month, which was, I forgot her Discord name.
Moonbeam.
Moonbeam, yeah,
Yep.
Moonbeam, yeah. I don't want to use her name because
that's it.
but Moonbeam. And then this month, which is Mr. Leland, right? So most of the month's content is actually their ideas. They're kind of driving the theme of the events, what events I run. I'm more of a supportive role, seeing the content very early, giving feedback to the rest of the game design roadmap, all those team members, and saying, hey, this is what we need to do to make sure that we have good events. This is what we need to do to make sure we have the scoring tables that we want to see for, like Mirror Universe and all of the warping and impulsing that I know people really are enjoying right now.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my role, and so I'm seeing things very early. Like I'm already currently, and I know this is probably the question 3 for tonight, but I'm already working on November, December this year.
Wow.
So I've already kind of moved on from the month, but I'm still here supporting Leland in whatever he needs to make sure that we do exciting stuff.
So much more collaborative.
Much more collaborative. I would say me and Mr. Tiger were on a call pretty much every day for like 2 months straight, if not slacking each other and messaging each other about different questions and checking balances. And hey, you know, a lot of the things is like, and a lot of the things I want to like address with the MU is the events. We kind of had this idea from game design. Hey, we're expecting this much activity, so this is how we should balance the events, right? We want a certain amount of hostile kills, certain amount of mining, certain amount of warps and entries, and sometimes we're not always so accurate because everything's theoretical, right? Everything's numbers on a spreadsheet. When we actually got to deploying the MU, I kind of step in and say, okay, this was the expectation, and actually watch all that data come in. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is how much they're actually engaging. This is how many hostiles they're actually doing. This is how many battles are actually happening. This is the level groups that are actually engaging the content. And I have to actually oversee all that data coming in and sift through it to make sure that we have everything presented to other decision makers. We call them stakeholders, so that any decisions made with like compensations, additional vouchers, comes from my information.
Yeah, I'd like to actually skip to that question because this is something I was going to talk to you about a little bit later, but I'm going to move ahead to that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, you were the one that was listening that very first night when we were on the show. I remember Putz was there, Matters, Jules. We were all hanging out. And we were saying, man, it would be great to free up Andy. Man, he's made T-shirts about it. Free the mirror universe. Like he was the one who really wanted to abandon the entire voucher system, which I understand why that wouldn't happen in and of itself. But we basically wanted much more access. We wanted to be able to play in that new content, which people either found to be exciting or at least intriguing enough for them to get in and want to play with it. So you were the person listening to that show that night. You were texting me back and forth about the extra vouchers into the mirror universe. I had asked for 3,000 that night. And I remember you DMing me and you said, yeah, that's not going to happen. I don't know about all that much. But in actuality, over the course of that next 5-6 days, you did in fact hand out 3,000 extra vouchers. The community really appreciated that. Tell me a little bit about that process. You had mentioned you're watching the data come in. You had the original design, and I guess had envisioned, you and Mr. Tiger had envisioned that to be a little bit more restricted. Players wanted more involvement with your features. So tell me about that conversation and the decision-making process into granting those extra vouchers for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we get numbers from game design and all the other team members that are collaborating up until launch that we can expect this kind of activity. It's designed around this much engagement because of the free drips, all that stuff. And we're like, okay, that makes sense. We'll just design around that and see how it goes. That's why a lot of the times when events launch, you know, some people, you know, hey, this is completable, whatnot. We're like, okay, we hear you. We'll take a look, and usually we'll change that before the next iteration if it's something actually in terms of data, in terms of what we're seeing in terms of completion rates, echoes that sentiment. So when it came to the mirror universe vouchers, when you asked for 3,000, I was like, okay, we're not going to give you all 3,000 at once, because you know how much I hate people hoarding their stuff.
He does. Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong button. I coughed a second. He hates hoarding. He doesn't like anybody hoarding anything.
Anti-hoarder.
Yeah, he's like, how many? He'll ask me, honest to goodness, you'll send me a DM and be like, just how many ultra tokens are you holding right now? And I'm like,
don't want to talk about it.
he was
question.
like, okay, spend them. No, he tells me stuff all the time that I've got to spend that I've got just building up in my account. But yeah, you guys like the whole reason behind caps and limits, as we've talked in the past, is because you guys don't like that hoarding mentality. You want people to progress at a pace that doesn't incentivize burnout or doesn't promote burnout, and doesn't necessarily promote the feeling of I have to, but we want people to do this every so often to get this amount of pacing of rewards and so forth. Tiger's talked about that as well, right?
Yeah. And so 3,000 wasn't the number in mind. You know, we kind of said, okay, we're giving you guys about 3 entries per 3 days. So it's about 1 entry per day. How can we supplement that? Well, let's give you guys 1 entry per day extra. And so we kind of made that compensation available in the refinery or in the store, and we opened it up to you guys. And as we were watching the engagement day by day, we said, okay, maybe we need to extend this by a day, or something might have happened with an event. And I think there was a couple of issues with some of the hostile kill events in this where it was very difficult to complete. We said, okay, we'll probably run another event or give you a different event as a makeup, and we'll also continue running that gift. So it was a little bit like we tighter our compensations as much as possible. We're not trying to just give you 3,000 and then have someone in their brain switch, oh my God, I have 3,000. I'm going to hold on to this until the next SLB. That's another thing I want to point out is we're being more cognizant of running events that encourage hoarding, right? We intentionally didn't do an event, as you might notice, of, SLB, enter into the mirror universe as many times as possible. Whoever entered the most wins the SLB. We didn't want that because that automatically kind of creates this behavior of, oh, this is going to come back. Now I need to hoard up.
And they don't play.
They don't play, which
Right.
is bad. And yeah, all these not wholly negative, right? I understand some people have work schedules, they can't play every day, so they like to be able to do a week's worth in one day on Sunday or something like that. Unfortunately, it's hard to accommodate all these play styles. We try to thread like the needle as much as possible,
Right.
with these events.
Okay, so let me come back a little bit and talk about this collaboration with Tiger. You had talked in the beginning about longer ago than we would have expected. You guys were having daily calls because you on the event design side were starting to formulate the grand scheme. Even though you had Moonbeam and you had Leland who were writing and doing these events, you were starting to formulate the direction of the event series. So one thing that I have to just and we are friends, all right? I talk to him all the time, so I'm going to bust your chops on one thing here. When you were talking to Tiger and starting to figure out the feel of this event, was there a general sense of what Tiger had wanted in the event design? For example, and I know you and I've talked about this, so this is not blindsiding, but like the daily mirror universe events, right?
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was something that did seem to kind of miss the mark, especially when Tiger came out and said, listen, we're kind of designing this so that you do earn, one a day kind of every 3 days, but like we're expecting burst play. And then there were those events that pretty much popped up every single day. That did, and you told me, it kind of felt like a little bit of a miss. How in this process now of kind of guiding the individual event runners, all right, as the pod leader, how did that one maybe get through the cracks?
Yeah, funny thing about that event is, as you know, it really didn't give much in terms of rewards. And I would say looking at the rewards kind of tells how much, not necessarily value we see in the event, but like how much of a crux event that event actually is, right? There are events that will give, a small amount of tritanium or event store currency that sends you to kill like 15, 20, 30 hostiles, sometimes 40. And then there are the events like the auction, right? That, you have to spend materials to get your new officer. And those rewards are infinitely higher scale. When I looked at that daily event, the main purpose of that event, and Tiger and I talked about this, was to kind of combat ROE. It wasn't necessarily to be an event that needed to be completed every day. It's just we know how ROE works. Players have, and we know that this MU space would be considered token space because it's a currency to go in, and that currency has a monetary cost sometimes. And we're like, okay, what's the best way to combat ROE so that people actually PvP in here without, throwing up the ROE flag? And I was like, well, we could do an event. I know, like, there's a lot of servers that, for miners, if there's an event to kill miners, token space is no longer protected. And so that was the idea. It ended up being like everyone wanted to complete this event no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it missed the mark. So maybe we could have communicated that better. Like, I tried to communicate, hey, most events aren't intended to, like Kobayashi Marus, they're not intended to be completed.
Right.
There are a few crazy ones out there. Good crazy.
Looking at
I
you,
love it.
Jonathan Ingram. All right.
I'm that kind of player. I want to complete all my events.
What's up, K9?
And so, like, we try to make those, in some cases, a lot of cases not, but in some cases completable reasonably. And yeah, it just ended up being like hey, everyone wanted to complete this event. Why do you have this daily event? And all this stuff about, oh, TCSP, you guys started with a daily event. Now you made it a 3-day event. Why aren't you guys following the same thing you guys did before? And I think it's just we never really thought about it as a true event.
You know, that actually is an explanation that actually totally makes a lot of sense.
I agree.
And it's kind of funny because while I was one who went and did a lot of those, because I love the Mirror Universe and I played a lot in that, it was Matters and Putz who came on the stage of the show and said, yeah, I did not absolutely do it every single day.
Oh, I took it to the top.
Yeah, he was like, I didn't do it every day. I had more than enough vouchers. Even I think Blue Mandalorian came in and said, hey, listen, why does anybody need 30,000 common Rift keys? Because that's what you earn from a perfect set the entire month. Why does anybody need that much? So you're saying right now, Putz and Matters players that looked at that and said, okay, this is an event that's going to source me what I need, as I need, and when I need it. That was the intent. Yep. And so a completionist attitude kind of betrayed the player a little bit at that point, which it might not necessarily be a terrible message to send, because there are events that are not meant to be completable, like you had mentioned, the Kobayashi Maru. And there's certainly more events now that present that partial engagement can be rewarding, but it certainly seems like you guys are moving a little bit more to that blended model. Let me come back with one more question before we get ready to go. When you and Tiger were originally designing the Mirror Universe, there was a lot of ideas, sticky notes on the wall, for example, that didn't end up making it into the final plan. One of the questions that I wanted to ask you was, what do you see possibly in the future of the Mirror Universe? You and I have talked a little bit about some of the stuff that didn't make it this time and some of the stuff that you hope can make it later on. Tiger has done the same on the show, talking about some of the stuff that didn't make it this run just because of time, bandwidth, et cetera, et cetera. But as you are essentially kind of the owner of the Mirror Universe, you are going to be kind of reiterating on this in the future. Tell me a little bit about maybe some of the pipe dreams on the wall with regards to the Mirror Universe that you would like to see come into the game if it becomes possible.
Yeah, I don't think we've thought that far ahead yet. I feel like this is fishing for leaks.
No,
so I'm gonna tread
that is on
a
that is on the approved list of questions.
DJ,
right
you're
here.
totally getting us kicked out of here right now.
What is
I knew
something that you'd like to see in the game regarding the Mirror Universe that we might not have had the tech for now? In other words, if you could write anything you wanted for an event inside the Mirror Universe, how would you write it? Yeah,
so I don't know how much our players know about the genre of loot extractors, but this is a kind of rising genre of games. There's been a lot that have come out recently. It started with a game called Escape from Tarkov. It's a military. You go in PvPvE. You loot as much as you can into your backpacks and you extract. And so that concept is kind of the core, I think, of what was pitched with the Mirror Universe. You go in. There's a time limit. There's PvPvE. You can't repair. You can't heal, except for now the healing ASAs, of course. And you try to get as much loot as possible before extracting within that time. And so part of that game style is like some things I had envisioned were like rare mobs, boss mobs, right? Not just generic hostiles that fly around and you kill X amount of them and they drop a Y amount of loot. I also envisioned like a more diverse loot table, because in Tarkov, it was all about what kind of loot you found and that little bit of RNG where you could have like a, let's just 50,000 Trillium run versus a 200,000 Trillium run.
Yeah.
That range gave you excitement to go in because you wanted to show a screenshot at the end of look at my cargo.
You want to spin the wheel and see what you get up every time.
And then you want to be able to flex that to your friends, right? Yep. Like, look at me. I'm able to come out of Mirror Universe with like 500k Trillium. Like, I always envisioned that. I think Mr. Tiger did a good job of adapting it to what we had available in terms of like resources, tech, etc. But yeah, I imagine that. I imagine like, rare boss spawns that are super hard and you just had to like be at the right place at the right time. You end up killing and you got a cool reward if you extracted with it. But if you died, someone could steal it from you,
Ooh.
Like that would have been fun in my opinion. But yeah, there's been games like Dark and Darker, Dungeonborn, among others that have followed this line of extraction looter. And I think that's what we were trying to pursue with this. It's hard to port into a game like Star Trek because it's a strategy, ship game. It's not, all these other games are first-person shooters and, like Chivalry, sword swinging and magic spells.
It reminds me a lot of Scouts that were originally a part of the game. from day one almost, right?
Yeah.
And just on the hunt for finding where they're going to be and getting them at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I think that would have been a cool mechanic to add to the MU that we just didn't have time to get around to. But never know. Always room for it in the future.
There you go. So, Beck, please don't kick us out. That was on the approved list.
That was on the approved list. Listen, I want to thank you very much for your time here today. I know we actually we're moving good on schedule. We've got a little bit of time, just a couple of minutes left. So maybe we can ask the audience to ask you a question, or if you've got something that you would like to kind of pose back to the audience. Because one of the things that we love about our collaboration with you and the other event runners and the ARC runners and all this stuff. For example, like we had learned when we were talking about the structure of the pods earlier, we learned that ARC runner is no longer the correct term, right? You have essentially the ARC runner, which is like the producer almost, right, who is working for the entire season, kind of like you, the pod lead. You're working for the entire season, or what you guys are referring to as the ARC, right? For you guys internally, an arc is the entire series, what we would call a season, for example.
Like a splash screen change.
Yeah,
Is that fair?
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's
yeah,
actually
so
fair.
anytime there's a new splash screen, that's considered a new arc for you guys. So 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, or 2 months,
At least
that
we
could be an
try
arc.
to get the splash screen.
Right.
There you go.
So that is kind of your role as pod lead. You're working with the event runners, and then these are called like the event runners for a singular month. Like Leland did a month, and Moonbeam did a month. They're event runners, right?
Month runners, whatever you want to call them.
Month runners. They're handling that 20 days worth of content. And so your role with the ARC runner, which is something like we've used the terminology of ARC runner for a very long time.
I just love this concept because I remember years ago having that feedback, which is, man, it's like the old left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing from 1 month to the next. This new structure completely solves that problem. And we see it from month to month, exactly as it was laid out in this very interview, how month to month things change and improve when it comes to Mirror Universe currency as a whole. And I was extremely super appreciative of that. I thought that went great because it was way more accessible month over month, just like Mr. Tiger appreciated. So it makes sense now knowing how the hierarchy is modified to have that handshake, basically. From what we see as arc to arc, now we know that there's a splash screen, captain, if you will, that's making sure that handshake goes across. I think it's awesome.
It does provide the opportunity, I think, and to kind of hone in on that, because some of the chat might still think that there are some collaborative mishaps here and there, and I think that that's fair to acknowledge. But what we do see, and I think we should be very fair and objective and acknowledge, was, for example, in that first month, Tiger came out on the show and said, hey, listen, next month you're going to see increased access to Liquid Trail MD. Next month you're going to see...
And loop closing.
Yeah, you're going to see increased access to the premium Rift keys, for example, for the trade downs. It seemed like maybe this particular process doesn't eliminate the communication issues, but it certainly allows for maybe a little bit more timely reiteration and improvements within the ARC instead of waiting months and months to come back. Would you agree that this process internally is helping you guys move quicker?
I think so, and I can't stress enough how much work is being put in. It's a lot of the things you guys see ends up like LiveOps did the last touch on it. 90% of that work came from a team of like 25 to 30 people working on this month.
Wow.
On just this month's stuff. It's a lot of collaboration, and hats off to the team for all the things that they did this month. I know, DJ, you were saying that this was one of the most content-packed months.
It
2 months
was,
that
yeah.
You've seen, and
Just a lot of new stuff that came really quickly.
Yeah, we're really reaching for some cool ideas coming up, I think, too. So I'm very excited for the upcoming months. Very excited for November, December that I've already kind of gotten a taste of what's coming. Very excited to see those things come to full bloom and to come in front of players. So
the last thing that I'll push you for on the leak front, which by the way is not super leaky, because
here we go.
No, because Beck has kind of already talked about this yesterday, in that we already know and have announced to the community that the upcoming month, the month of August, is going to feature a totally new crossover IP. This is Galaxy Quest coming into the Star Trek universe. it was also hinted at yesterday that your job as pod runner for the Mirror Universe may not be over yet, right? Like, we have been kind of hinted at that the Galaxy Quest IP coming into the game is going to be in somehow or form related to the narrative of the Mirror Universe. Are you done at this point, or do you still have more work to do on the Mirror Universe?
There is a smoked glass door that I'm looking through, and literally I just saw Beck's silhouette
I did.
walk
I
right
saw
up to
that.
the front of that door.
Because we're at our time.
There you
so
go.
is he going to cite time? Are you going to cite time and not answer this question?
Let's just say that next month's content was something that I had to also get a lot of feedback to the arc runners and the month runners for that arc. So
that answers that question.
There you go.
Perfectly.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Look at that. Mirror Universe will march on, guys.
Stop it, DJs.
What? I'm just saying it's a thing. All
Although
right.
there was a comment in chat, Mirror Universe will never be touched again because Scopely never goes back and revisits content. And when I read that, I knew that that was not a fair comment to make. And now,
As a matter of fact, I can actually address that particular comment with one of our upcoming guests who will be here just very shortly, as one of our topics today is, in fact, about revisiting previous content. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to, you know what, I think I forgot to put up the commercial break slide, so I can do the
let's say goodbye to Josh
Scopely
and-
Fix It. Is that okay, community? You want that one there? Or we could just...
Will you be a gracious host and let's say goodbye to Josh?
I would, as we prepare to take our final commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say a huge thank you and very much appreciate Scoobs. Josh, thank you very much for
Thank you,
coming
sir.
in from the event design department. Thank you so much, man, for your time.
thanks for having me.
All right, guys. When we return, we're going to take a very quick break.
I'm going to get the command hook situation taken care of,
All right.
okay?
I
Moopsie?
have seen
Look, this stage
so
had
many-
nothing in it, and I worked very hard to make it look as good as it did. But just for you, I will figure out something to put on that little wall in the corner, which it's, excuse me. I'll be back, DJ.
Okay, we're going to take a very quick break, and when we return, more guests from inside the Culver City headquarters of Scopely, Los Angeles, home of Star Trek Fleet Command. We'll be back right after these words. Thank you so much. Please don't go anywhere. Today's show brought to you in part by the Musgrove Trial Firm in Georgia. Have you suffered personal injury in Georgia? You need a buddy. Give Buddy at the Musgrove Trial Firm a call, 678-226-1994. Visit them online at musgrovetrialfirm.com. This portion of the show brought to you by CrazyBunch.org. Are you old like Bubba Joe and get tired playing video games? Surtail has a solution for your health and wellness needs, especially while gaming. You could try an energy gummy for those long incursion events, or just to keep yourself conscious while you're doing all that mining. Surtail is an independent distributor of all aerial products you'll need to improve your gaming experience. Message Surtail on Discord or visit CrazyBunch.org for more information. Yo, what's up, Commanders? Great news about PvPTarget.com. You've known for a while that it exists and has some great reference tools regarding PvP banding and common crew loadouts, but they've recently launched brand new tools on the site, including a brand new cargo calculator page as well. This isn't your typical max cargo style calculator, but a brand new, unique tool that identifies the timer until you go over cargo. The game timer might tell you how long to zero the node, but how long until your miner is at risk? You can find out now by using the brand spanking new cargo calculator at PvPtarget.com.
Greetings, coming with another reversion.
Someone told me long ago, it's a calm before the storm. I know it's been coming for some time.
very much digging my reggae here today. All right, I'm loving it very much. Listen, Hammy, this beautiful California weather, man. It's been there's been good weather.
Yeah.
Oh, wrong image. There we go.
How you
We're
doing?
back, everybody. Welcome back from a break. Appreciate you guys all being here. My name is UltimatDJz. Thank you for being here on the stage of Talking Trek Live, Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast. We appreciate. Where is Green Griffin? The chat wants to know. Unfortunately, we're sharing the same camera, so I can't actually pull it off today.
News flash.
Hold on.
Green
You know what?
Griffin is not real.
You know what? Just
My world is crumbling.
Hang on a second. I might be able to indulge these
No,
people.
don't do it. Why would you do it?
I mean, because why wouldn't?
Oh, there you go. Problem solved. The
There you
real
go,
us.
everybody. Great Griffin is here.
We have transmutated back to
All
our
right,
original
ladies
form.
and gentlemen, welcome to Green Griffin.
Hey, how you doing? It's a pleasure to finally be here in my natural state.
Yeah.
Wearing that pink skin is so uncomfortable. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Oh my Lord!
I
All
hate
right,
you.
can we
I hate everything
please
about
make this go away? Now I've lost the command.
Speaking of making things go away, guess what, Oopsie?
Yes. Okay, here I got it fixed. Boom, and we're back.
Okay.
All right.
That was difficult.
Coming back over to our guest. Take a look behind Hammy now. Hammy, take a look at that wall over there. Look what's now gone.
The command strips
The
are
command
no longer
strips
there.
are gone. Okay.
I can't see him anymore.
Yeah, they are gone.
Completely gone.
We have seen 0 strips. All right, we are now good.
It's not
All right.
like, ooh, look at the cool Klingon and Romulan lights that Griffin put up in the background and make it compelling. No. Oh, look at that command strip in the corner that the box fell down on 2 minutes before we went on air.
Hammy. They're wanting green Hammy.
Green Hammy.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
You
wow.
won't get this anywhere else.
Oh boy.
Oh, he is.
Here we go.
definitely-
Wow.
What have you
geez.
done to our friend?
What?
Green eggs and ham right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh man. I had no idea what I was getting into. Oh man.
Obsidian Hulkster is on our stage. Absolutely. Hammy smash.
I like that. I like that.
So you guys get your screenshots, all right?
Yeah.
And we'll do a meme contest a little bit later, all right? I want to see the best memes of Obsidian Hulkster here, okay?
I might even use one as my avatar on official. So let's see
If
what
you
we
do
can
like
do.
a meme face, like
Yeah.
reaching at the camera, that might actually happen.
Ah.
There it is. Clip it.
Get it.
Okay, you guys, if you didn't use that, like I've got maybe one more in me.
Okay.
One more. I got one more just in case.
Yes?
All right, I'm
No,
spent.
that's it.
I'm spent. I gave it all. I gave
For those of you who might be listening in podcasts and have no idea what is actually going on, all
We
right?
apologize.
We do apologize. This is just kind of the funny little bit, but I have changed the colors of the cameras. So Hammy turned green and Griffin was
Well, that's
green.
good.
It's kind of a whole big thing. So
Good old Green Griffin.
we have big questions in the chat for Hammy here. First of all, did you get your quesadilla?
No, not yet. It's driving me nuts, but I've been getting some good recommendations of places to go around town. Honestly, I think Thursday it's going to happen. I might have to go day 2 without quesadilla.
Maybe we'll do it
Quesadillas.
tonight without DJs. Since we
You
go
know
to dinner
what?
without him.
You know what? Without DJ ruining it for everybody, it might be a perfect time to get us a quesadilla.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't wow me.
Ruined everything.
Wow you. Wow yourself.
I ruined it all. Okay.
Griffin who? What? Who? What?
Mark my words, chat. I will be getting that quesadilla before I leave LA, and I will take pictures and I will be sharing it on official.
Fantastic.
It will
Perfect.
happen. It will happen.
All right, very good. We did actually have a serious question for you here a few moments ago. As a matter of fact, I want to take this moment very quickly.
That was
to go-
Hammy when he was told to go to official.
That's actually pretty good.
Here, moments ago, right before we took the stage, you made a post in official announcements regarding incursions. Tell us a little bit about that. What happened?
Incursions, the last time we ran incursions, we got a lot of issues going on, a lot of reports from players about lag and stability. So we decided to push it back a month to postpone things and kind of try and get things worked out before we run again. The good news is, as I just posted, the green hammies are popping up in chat. Sorry, I got distracted.
Ooh, happy day.
Sorry, I should not have chat open.
guys.
I should not have chat open. The good news is that we will be running the Incursion store and the Exo Comp on Friday, August 2nd. Some of these are going to be, honestly, now I'm back to looking at the green hammies again.
These are great. I love them.
I can't do both at the same time. But the good news is the Incursion, Exo Comp, and store will be running on August 2nd, even if Incursion themselves are postponed.
Okay. That's a great, what is it called? That's great news.
Yes. I'm glad that we could get that done, and also honestly get that update as soon as we could.
Well done.
Following the postponement.
The Incursion Exos, as you mentioned, are going to come up. The store is actually going to come up as well.
Mm-hmm.
I presume that you guys are looking at a compensation chest with some of the currency to use in that store.
I haven't heard anything about that, but that is something great for me to follow up on, because it makes sense to me, but again, I would need to check on that.
Regarding the fact that incursions will not be happening, will we still see the prep events that come this weekend traditionally?
I just saw that pop up in chat as well, and that's something I'm going to track down.
Okay.
Well, that way we get the money to spend in the store.
Makes sense.
Or there's a compensation chest to spend in the store. Either way, I'm sure Scopely will have something for us to spend in the store, or why put up the store? Right, DJ?
I mean, there could. I still have loot. I haven't spent all my loot.
Oh, well.
Why do you keep talking about spending stuff?
It's
here?
not all about you, DJ.
Okay. All right.
Well, according to DJ, I guess we don't need to do that. So
No, that's.
Zing.
I'm going to turn you green again. You better be careful.
All right. We're just jokes. People are having fun. We're all having a good time. Just little jokes here and there.
We are having a good
little
time.
Incursion humor.
As a matter of fact, we can take a minute. We've got our next guest coming in here in about 8 minutes or so, where we're going to be talking actually about some of the questions that were in chat about revisiting content. And our next guest is actually going to be able to talk to us a little bit about that, which I'm very, very excited about. Specifically, Dragon Keeper. He says, what about the War Room?
Wasn't it Trash Keeper?
Trash Keeper.
Trash
sorry.
Keeper.
What about the War Room? Yes, actually, our guest coming up here, let's see, is it? Yeah, our very next guest, community.
Oh, how convenient.
Is going to be,
Serendipitous.
the next guest is Logan. We'll have him in here in less than 10 minutes, and he is the owner of the feature of the War Room, and we actually do have questions that we're going to talk to him about the War Room, about its pacing, and revisiting older content. That is actually on our approved list of questions that we're going to be able to talk to Logan about, who is essentially Scopely's PvP kingpin.
He is indeed. You can tell by his Klingon hair that he flips around in his videos.
Yeah, so he's going to be here to talk to us actually very much. A lot of our questions are surrounding the War Room feature, and so we're going to talk to him about that coming up in just a few moments. That being said, I do see Madam Planson and Beck appearing in our Discord chat, so hello. Thank you.
What did you say now?
I said nothing. I believe she is reacting to the green hammy pictures is what's happening there.
Excellent.
Very quickly, want to thank you last night because Griffin wasn't able to be involved.
What a jerk. Just twiddling my thumbs in my hotel room, making sure my phone's not on silent.
I like the DJ has to just twist the knife.
Well, I'll just sit here and watch Galaxy Quest. They'll call me anytime.
We did have a very nice evening last night. It was actually, truthfully, it was super intimate, and I didn't really want you there. It was just... It was just a nice moment.
I don't know how much
Hammy.
more intimate I could be sharing the same cabin with you on the cruise when you're sleeping freaking naked.
It was a lot of fun, and I want to thank you again, the entire team, for your hospitality this week. It's been really, really nice to
Happy to hear it, man.
to be out here with you guys again. So been a lot of fun. What else what are you working on? I know yesterday we had a full day of content, obviously surrounding what's coming up in August. And we should probably mention, I think Beck has authorized us to release that there will be a content drop tomorrow. Is that right? We've got, I'm looking at my notes here. Yes, we are authorized to reveal that there will be more Galaxy Quest information. Maybe not a lot more, but we're doing these nuggets, these bite-sized little nuggets.
Yep.
She has a content drop planned tomorrow. Tell me a little bit about some of the stuff that you're working on. I know you work closely with Beck and the communications team. Shout out Sierra as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, big,
yeah.
huge shout out. to
Also,
Sarah.
also to Polly, Sim Polly over on Official.
Absolutely.
Major member of the team who has been fantastic about getting, honestly, and that guy has some of the worst announcements to put out sometimes, and he is such a trooper about it. He's always great about getting stuff out, good or bad. He's a major component of the team. Same with Sierra and same with Beck. I'm just really proud of the work that we've been doing on comms lately.
As you should be, because it's been wonderful.
Thank
and
you.
Very, very informative and responsive, even when times are not at their peak.
Correct.
So thank you.
Correct. Thank you, man.
Archery doubles down on that point, Hammy, and says, I've got to give an objective positive at this point. It's good that Scopely are talking like this to the community. For a long time, we got no communication, discussions, insights into design processes internally. Listening to this, Archery says, helps me better understand the intentions behind some of the designs and ideas. Good job on these types of shows. So
Thank you.
Really do appreciate that. Speaking of crossovers, we did a big show last night talking just about community reaction. While we have about 5 or 6 minutes left with you, Hammy, I'd like to share a little bit about some of the stuff that we found last night, which was, I think, we saw a lot of shock value last night. And some of the community reactions came in even afterwards from some of the people who might have been, oh, what is this? And kind of said, okay, admittedly, any crossover probably would have had a little bit of shock value. It is completely new. It's something anything would have felt awkward in that moment.
Absolutely.
But more people seemingly are kind of thinking about it and at least maybe fairly saying, okay, let's table the rage for a moment and see how it's going to impact the game, what the mechanics are going to look like. But that led us to think about future crossover opportunities. So while we've got just a couple of minutes with nothing official to talk about, I know you and I had talked last night about some of the sillier crossover type things that we could potentially see in the game. You actually really had a good time on Official yesterday, really supporting this idea of a Dora the Explorer crossover. I doubled down on that on Discord this morning.
Oh, man. There were so many great suggestions that actually started flooding in. I think I actually saw a Fonzie
Well, that's
Officer.
officer because Fonzie jumps the shark.
There we go.
In Happy Days.
Yep. No, there was
The original
actually,
meme.
I saw, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 different suggestions for hilarious crossovers that go next, and for almost every single one, I was doing a GIF of someone taking notes. I was just taking notes on all of them. Personally, one of the ones that I would like to see in the future, I don't know if it's possible. I'm not saying it's ever going to happen. But Battlestar Galactica, I thought would be super cool. Probably the newer one, maybe not the one from the 70s. I thought there'd be kind of a lot of cool overlap there. But again, that's just some of the stuff that we were talking about over on Official. I think you were correct that there was some shock initially when people first heard of this crossover. We did mention it, I think, in our roadmap at the beginning of the year.
It was
so
there.
we did mention it, but I guess it was just kind of maybe some people had forgot about it.
It's been a hot minute,
It
right?
is.
And
It
and
has.
some people might have forgotten it was there. Heck, some people have joined the game since then.
Yeah.
And
True.
and
True.
there hasn't been a roadmap update in a long time. And I went back and checked that roadmap. It wasn't super specific in how it was written. It just said that there was going to be a unique IP.
Yep.
Some people may have thought that unique IP might have just been a new Star Trek property that was coming in. But no, this is about as unique as it kind of gets as far as a feature that's coming in. What I have observed is after that kind of knee-jerk reaction, actually, once people got a little bit of a deep breath, and there are still certainly a lot of people out there that are like, hey, I still don't feel like this belongs.
Well, they just didn't see it coming. Nobody expected the crossover event, and so there was initial shock and awe.
Yep.
But then there is time to digest and sort of think about it and realize really the mechanic is what's important, not the overlay in the skin.
For a lot of people, that is true. And I think some people, maybe more so than 24 hours ago, are willing to give it a wait-and-see kind of position.
Yep. And if I could just say, the three big reactions that I saw over on Official, the first one was a lot of that shock. A lot of like, oh my God, what's going on? This is new. This is kind of crazy. I don't know if I like it or not. It's not Star Trek. But the second was people who were kind of interested. I like Galaxy Quest. I've seen it as kind of like, I mean, it's it's almost like a love letter / parody to Star Trek and Star Trek fans. And that's why I think it does fit well. And I think other players saw that. But the last one, the last reaction that I saw was basically what you were mentioning, is that people are interested in the content. Let's see how the content works with the game. From what I've seen, I think there's some good stuff coming. So I think a lot of our players are reserving judgment until we see how it integrates with the game. I think it's going to go well, but again, I understand how some people did react the way they did yesterday.
Implementation is always master here, right?
Yep.
And sometimes Scopely does get it very right, and sometimes we miss the mark a little bit. So I think it's really going to play out. And I still kind of maintain what I said yesterday throughout the day, starting early with the live stream, and then last night with the roundtable is, I am willing, personally as a player, I'm willing to give the narrative a little bit of leeway if it has a momentous impact on my game. And what players are looking for is not more of the same old, same old. What players are looking for is innovative content, consolidating of content, efficiency returns, increases in efficiencies, and replacing previous content with newer content and not making us play in 17 different loops. That, I think, remains at the top of the wish list for the player base. And I could be wrong. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. But I think players would be a lot more forgiving of this arc if we come out and see some of those really crucial check boxes ticked off as far as gameplay goes.
Absolutely.
In the fun kind of spirit of crossovers, and I'll just tell this story very quickly because we've got about a minute or two before Logan comes in.
Yep.
I'm super hypersensitized to crossovers now.
Okay.
This morning, I'm laying in bed at the hotel because I stayed up way too late partying with Hammy last night.
Screw you, pal.
And so I wake up and Oliver is watching cartoons on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
And Landon and Noah are in there too, and all of a sudden Teen Titans Go comes on. Now, this is not something that I know much about. I guess it's a DC thing. Do you guys know Teen Titans Go? It's like the kids' version.
My niece and nephew watched it. I thought it was a charming show.
It was cute.
Yeah.
I chuckled when I watched it this morning. It was very goofy.
Yeah.
Ironically, the most ironic of all episodes to air this morning was the Teen Titans crossover episode where they were chasing some guy and he kept appearing in the intro sequences of other shows. So crazy. I kid you not. Some of you guys are going to know this episode. Teen Titans Go appeared with the Flintstones, the Jetsons. They appeared with Scooby-Doo.
Nice.
Yogi Bear?
No, not that one. Scooby-Doo. Batman, which was a really funny sequence because one of the Teen Titans is Robin.
Yeah.
So it was so funny to me, and I'm thinking to myself, gosh, this might actually be more common than what we as a community behaved like yesterday.
What are you talking about? Crossovers happen all the time in every IP. The crossovers are very prevalent in our
It
economy.
seems like it's a concept our community's never heard of before.
No, they were simply surprised by the fact that it was our turn to experience a crossover. That's the thing.
I guess so. Yeah. But it was very, very interesting. And so I just thought that was a funny story because this morning, all this hypersensitivity and reaction to crossover. And then this morning, I saw a crossover that me in my 40s and my 9-year-old son and my 2 teenage sons were all watching the same show and laughing out loud.
Perfect
because Jetsons and the Flintstones, those are older cartoons. Scooby-Doo, older cartoons. And the Teen Titans, that's what Oliver likes. And my teenage boys, Landon and Noah, were like, oh, yeah, I used to watch Teen Titans, like the older version of the Teen Titans when they were kids. So it's just, I see that as being a potential. Jules talked about this yesterday, bringing audiences together.
Well, all of that, of course, has one thing in common, which is Hanna-Barbera.
Okay.
By the way.
True.
So here we are at Paramount and a Paramount subsidiary licensee. And big surprise, here comes the other, Paramount license.
Maybe so. We will continue to have these kinds of curiosity-style conversations.
Happy to. Yeah.
We are going to go ahead and invite in our next guest. Hammy, thanks for sitting with us.
Absolutely.
We'll come back
Thanks,
to you
bro.
here in just a couple of minutes.
Always a blast. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man. We're going
Hamster,
to.
you're not going to leave the building without bringing me for dinner tonight. Okay. Okay.
All right. So coming in here in just a second while we swap out seats, we've got our next guest. who has probably been one of the most visible event designers of the last 2 years.
Unquestionably unique, charismatic, loves the IP like none other, and always entertaining to listen to when he has a chance to visit us.
When he does the videos with Beck and for the events and so forth, he does a phenomenal job and is always very charismatic. As a matter of fact, in his last video, we saw him really get into character with the wild hair and adopting the spirit of Kalis.
I loved it.
It was fantastic. And he is known, even inside these four walls, as kind of the PvP kingpin of Star Trek Fleet Command. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to issue a very warm welcome at this particular moment to our next guest from Event Design. You guys know him and love him.
I'm fangirling right now, big time.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Logan. What is up, man?
Hey, afternoon to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much, DJs and Griffin here for having me on stage. I'm excited to be here. How you guys doing?
Great.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so very much for being here. It's always a great time when we get to come to Los Angeles.
Oh my gosh, look at the first right there.
Yeah,
war
people
room,
are chanting war room in the
war
chat.
Room.
Listen, that was a feature while we're talking about it, and this is exactly what Beck said not to do. Don't divulge. And you and I had a plan when we came in here.
It's not my fault. That's right there in the chat. I'm simply reading chat.
I mean, chat is king, right?
She literally knows both of us way too well, Logan, because she told the both of us, stick to the list.
She told me nothing.
And do not, and I even said, I will do my best, but sometimes the conversation will devolve into something else. And she looks at both of us with that same evil eye, and I'm just like, oh. So here we are doing exactly what we were told not to do.
Surprise,
2 minutes in, off to a good start.
We are good. That's right. Voice of chat is voice of the people. So,
That's right.
Listen, I wanted to get into the questions. We are going to circle back around to the war room and PvP here in just a few moments. But one of the things that we had talked to Josh about here on this last segment was not as much about the game and the event design, but more about the design process behind it. And last time that we had you on the show, you were telling us about processes and some tools that you were working on to improve the structural reliability of events, rewards, milestones, things like that. Automation tools for rewards and just various things throughout the event design process. And we have certainly noticed an improvement, and I think we probably were even able to possibly put a thumbprint on when some of that stuff started rolling out.
Indeed.
It seems like they're working decently well. We still see something cross through once in a while. Tell us a little bit about how this new algorithm that you wrote is applied to both new and some of the recycled events, because you basically created this process in which we're piping the events through, and there's a lot less room for error now, right?
Yeah, 100%. I'm interested in when you guys, started to think things were rolling out. But yeah, DJs, I mean, even I think we had that dinner sometime last year, and I said something like, hey, I've got some stuff planned. Things are coming. And, I think I had ballparked somewhere around February or March for some of those things kind of making it into the game. And right around then is kind of when some of this stuff has been going in. So, to your point, I've been spending a lot of time basically outside of running arcs, trying to solidify the process, streamline the workflows of kind of the Scopely side of how we get all this content, all of the events to you guys. And, to your point, hopefully you guys have been seeing, some improvements in that regard, better standards, more consistency on the events front, on the rewards front. And then I love the memes in the chat, by the way.
They're already coming in, man. This is great.
I do have the laptop open. I can see you guys, so feel free to go crazy. I mean...
Yeah, that's a great
That's
one.
a huge, what are you going to do?
Love you guys that you guys are playing along with our guests here today and having some polite and respectful fun. I do appreciate that from you, chat. And we will get to some of your questions here shortly. But referring back to these tools, I definitely, I do think it was probably around the beginning of the year, the first quarter, towards the end of the first quarter, we had started to see some of that, and really probably even in like April, we were going through almost an entire series without those daily reports of, hey, this milestone for Ops 65 has G3 crystal.
It was
for
very
example.
noticeable, and it was definitely a big improvement. And it seems like the algorithm has really done its job and taken its place. I don't. Is there still manual review involved in that process, or is it kind of running the show on its own? Or
Yeah, I mean, 100%. There's definitely still manual review of everything. And, there is a ton of content in our game, a ton of intricacies in, the events and the rewards we give out. So, not everything fits itself into a nice, conveniently packaged formula. But for me, it's about for the things that we can make standard and consistent. I'd love those to be 100%, standard and consistent, so you guys know what to expect on your end. And I think the other piece to kind of the overall automation push and just making our process, I guess, easier for our side is hopefully you guys have noticed, a couple of cool things we've been able to do, parts of the game that maybe hadn't been touched in a while that you're starting to see some updates to. I'll throw out a couple that I've had a hand in, like, for instance, maybe the Battle Pass milestones or the new TC Season Pass rewards, or, like there's been some updates to the Ultra Recruit, ARC events. There's all these things that we are able to kind of do and implement now that we've got the ability to do, the velocity to do that we didn't before.
the Battle Pass milestones this month, by the way, total badass.
They were very, very improved. As a matter of fact, we talked to the community about that after Mr. Leland came out and said, hey, listen, just in case it hasn't been noticed yet, do some math on this. And chat, you guys talked about that. I can see Tarpy in the chat right now. The new Territory Capture Season Pass is looking phenomenal. Another big boost there. So, yeah, the content of that stuff, which traditionally I had remembered content that we had done way back when Rev was tracking some of the stuff. Battle Passes only got updates about once every 9 to 10 months, maybe twice a year if we were lucky. And we're seeing those with much more frequency now. Your algorithm, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hodgepodge of things. A lot of it is partially algorithm, partially us having time to do things as a result of some of the stuff being more algorithmic. And just across the board, we all very much care about the game. We're all super passionate people. We want to be able to do as much for you guys as we can. So hopefully this is, our route to do that.
The chat is pointing out some of the other events that certainly could, use a refresh as it comes through the test of time and so forth, but it still takes time to apply your tools to these other events. And that was going to be my next question is explain a little bit about how the bandwidth has changed when you're applying this algorithm to the new events. Is it as simple as like a copy and paste kind of overlay, or how do you go about, now that you've got the extra bandwidth, how do you go about adjusting some of the older events?
Yeah. There's a number of pieces of it, and so effectively, I can boil it down kind of into three loose categories, right? So one of them is, to your point, like just formulas, just straight up, math and calculations. A lot of that stuff's been made easier on our side, so that's going to be kind of the stuff you're seeing with, the rewards for most of the events being consistent and well-paying, in Tritanium or Par Steel or whatever it may be. Then there's the piece of just standardizing of a lot of the event types that we normally run, right? So I'm sure you guys have seen one of the names that was not intended to be a final player-facing name was the Lost Isles SMS, which is now lovingly called Lost Isles. That was a working name for that, but codifying some of those more often run events so that they're standard and they show up, for instance, in like the Battle Pass or in just your daily engagement, making sure that those are all in order. So for that effect, a lot of those events are significantly more, copy and paste, as you can say. They're a lot easier to reference than they were previous. And then to your point on the third piece, like, the revamping of old events is usually a couple of steps, right? Because we need to figure out, one, like with any revamp of anything, you kind of need to have a direction for it, right? And we want to make sure that we have a solid direction and that when we update the rewards, they're going to that you guys are going to be happy with it, right? For instance, like the TC season pass here, you know, we just did the rewards for. We spent a lot of time trying to make sure that the different, you know, building upgrade currencies that you're going to get through that pass are going to be valuable, and that the content feels like it could make sense in that territory capture space. So as far as revisiting old events, basically, we have more bandwidth to be able to do that, but it still does take a good bit of, you know, manual planning, manual designing of how that's going to look, even if the implementation is significantly faster now.
When you're talking about these structures and the formulas that are being applied to these events, what are the formulas based on? Like, are they? Do you guys have like a master list of how the math is done? Because I know everything here is, quite honestly, very reliant on formulas, math. That was something that you and I had talked about in the past, and we've observed that math a great deal in a number of events. In
we
comparison.
can prove it right out. Yeah.
Yeah. In almost any single event, we can come out and say, okay, here's the math and why. Like, we can justify the math. As a matter of fact, I've said in the past that there are a lot of things that I might not agree with decision-wise with Scopely, but where there is logical math, I can typically get behind stuff like that. The math is not emotional. The math is numbers. It's static. It's concrete. So when you guys are creating the math, and I see some questions in the chat, why does this event look like this, or why does that event look like that? There is kind of a core, I guess, comparison. Like, where does the math come from?
Yeah, so it really depends on the style of event. Specifically, for rewards, you know, to your point, they're mostly standardized at this point. You're going to get kind of either your more ship, station, or research focused rewards, and those are going to come with what they come with. And you know, there's a lot of the math is like the nuance between like tokens and, you know, the loose resources, and just managing how differently we handle so many different resources in our game. But for rewards that are like more, you know, bespoke, for things like, you know, our big epic officer recruits on the weekends, or things like, you know, syndicate events, or even the new quantum events that the previous guest has been, you know, essential in rolling out. All of those rewards are still like hand tuned, and, you know, there's definitely somebody behind the scenes trying to make sure that the stuff that they've handpicked is going to be exciting to compete for.
Particularly those events with newer currencies.
Yes.
I imagine.
Yes, definitely. So a lot of the I guess arc runner stuff you guys are seeing, a lot of the you know, the main event series and all the new stuff that drops each month, a lot of that stuff is still being you know, manually looked through and composed by whoever the guy is on LiveOps, kind of mainly in charge of that month. And it's really a lot of the events that we've run before, sort of, that are more standardized. Now, as to, you know, why do certain events look a certain way or not, I have been here since update 48, and
Been a hot minute, right?
Yeah, and you know, I'm just now being able to roll out some of this tooling that I've been working on for the better part of really a year now. So to that effect, like, why isn't everything in the game perfectly up to date? You know, give us some time. We're hopefully increasing our velocity to be able to continue to do more and improve things. It's a process.
Most of the questions that I see in chat scrolling by very quickly have to do with those cosmic cleanups and Crucible Wars and the Sunday Swarm. And, you know, there really are two schools of thoughts out there, y'all. One is, yeah, they could be updated. They could be made relevant to me. The other school of thought is, I have outgrown that content and I don't need to engage in it anymore. And that's, you know, there's new stuff for me. We can't elevate those old events to the higher players, because what the entry-level players then have to go after.
Well, not only that, but there has been a huge community push towards first in, last out. You know, when we talk about content, when we add a new loop, we add a new host, or we add a new ship, it is kind of generally desired that it doesn't add to the list of things we got to do, but kind of go in and replace some of that. So I'm sure, you know, and again, when we talk to you about it taking a year to kind of get to this point. The good news is now that we are at this point, it does kind of become a curve. Now that we've got the tools in place, it does give you additional time to look at other things. And as some of that stuff gets caught up, it's going to give you even more time to come up with other things. It's just kind of a baby step process towards getting things cleaned up.
Because the algorithm will keep algorithming.
That's right. It's going to keep doing stuff. So your last project, your big project, has been this automation software. It seems like that is relatively in place, and I like it. I again, as a math guy, it feels better when we can see the math, when we can come and look and say, okay, here's the justification for this. And even though some players don't always like it, we've talked about like the heroic recruit events, and those milestones do shift, but so do their comparative formula, where they're derived from, which are the station packs. And we've known that as a community for many years. So when those get an inflation, things like that change. There are sometimes unfortunate byproducts in the true free-to-play community that takes a little bit of time for them to catch up, but the math is always there. It always holds. So that is nice to see. So that project is relatively in place. Tell us the latest in your world. You said that you have not been spending as much time on ARCs, but you did give us the War Room feature here not too long ago. We're going to talk about that in a second. What are you working on next? Are you still in that?
What do you mean, what are you working on next?
I mean, like, last time you told us about your automation process.
Please don't get us kicked out of scope.
It's on the list right there. What are you working on next? Right there. Read
Okay,
it
is on the approved.
It's
What
on the
are you
approved
working
list.
on next?
Are you still writing ARCs? Are you working more on the engineering side? Are you doing more of the tool side? What's Logan up to these days?
Yeah, so I mean, a couple of things. One, to your point, I did just do update 65. So thank you to anybody who enjoyed the craziness of the the Klingon charades there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, what I'm working on is at the moment a hodgepodge of things, and there are a number of cool conversations going on potentially where else this tooling might make its way into. But yeah, as a whole, I'm trying to do things a little bit more holistic. I think I've had some success here with the the ways that I've tried to streamline the work on LiveOps, and potentially we can take that even further so that we have even a higher velocity, or potentially get some cross-discipline items going. But yeah, so what I'm working on at the moment, I'm working on a number of upcoming things that I can't speak on. I will say, like, to the last point you were mentioning, right, with like Cow and a number of the other older events, and to your point of Philo, right, like first in, last out. Yeah, there are a number of cool features, content, etc. down the line that can help, that can fill in some of the gaps of things that you guys are potentially looking for in some of these revamps.
That's great.
That you guys just aren't quite aware of yet. So there are problems being solved that are not visible necessarily that they're being solved. That being said, yeah, at the moment I'm just trying to make it so that everything is really fast and painless, and really to the people in chat, I'm trying to reduce the bugs, guys. I'm trying to.
That's right. This is exactly what we're talking about here. When you guys say take time off and do the bugs and fix the bugs,
Here's the guy.
mean, this when it comes to event design, when it comes to the math and the rewards, I mean, there has been, and I know the chat's gonna shill me on this comment, but there's been a notable improvement. We identified that earlier this year. We've talked about it on podcasts. I'm sure Matters and Jules could go back and find that time that we talked about that. But there was a notable time when we realized that we weren't seeing those weird outliers with this particular ops and this particular milestone in this particular event. So, I mean, I guarantee that stuff has been gone over. Another one of the bugs that you work on specifically, since we're looking for validation here, are hooks. Now, we talked a little bit about hooks last time. When I say hooks, I mean scoring metrics, like what triggers things in the game. You have done a lot of cleaning up of those, like, and even are responsible for introducing new ones as well, right?
Yeah, I can't take full credit for that one. I guess just for broader visibility, like every single member of LiveOps gets the opportunity to add new metrics, new hooks to the game. And so, every month we're trying to come up with new cool stuff. And I have a really good buddy on the team as well who I've worked with for specifically some of the hook and validation items. But yeah, overall, that follows into the same sort of suite of things of trying to make sure stuff's standardized and more easily referenceable. And overall, just make it a lot easier to deliver the the level of quality we're looking to deliver month over month. I just said a buzzword there.
Yeah, quality. All right, we got it. Yeah, quality. All right. So with reference, we've got about 10 minutes left, and the community has been chanting this in the chat because you were the arc runner. Now, going back to what we had talked about with Josh, because this new process has been in place for a little time, we're not specifically referring to the monthly event runner now, but you were in fact like the pod leader, arc runner for the War Room feature, right?
War Room Daddy.
Yeah, War Room Papa, right? Tell us what your role was kind of in that, because you own the War Room feature, which was widely
Generally
approved, but it sparked a lot of controversy, sparked a lot of conversation. It changed, as Josh was talking about, some of the ROE that the Galaxy has come to adopt and has kind of thrown a little bit of a monkey wrench into that. Probably intended, right?
Whether the effect on ROE, while might be a resultant impact of the War Room, we certainly didn't go into the War Room thinking how can we shake up and destroy ROE. It's not the move. What we wanted to do was go into the War Room trying to give an incentive for people who enjoy PvP to be able to do that more often. And obviously that is going to come with some ROE compromises, because we're now adding some incentive. But it's a different goal of punishing, a certain group of players than rewarding a group of players that already kind of wants to be playing through PvP. So, I had a hand in the War Room. I also actually worked on it alongside AP, another community favorite here. And really, I am a big fan of PvP, not just in Fleet Command, but in general. I've played pretty much exclusively PvP games. So, and I enjoy playing PvP in Fleet Command a good bit as well. The goal is to try and give a wider range of ways to interact with PvP. And, some of that you're going to see in the War Room. Some of that you guys have seen in the Mirror Universe. Some of that might have been on a roadmap that we released at some point this year. And overall, we've done a bunch of research. There is definitely a group of players in our game that really enjoy PvP. And, while every month is not going to be PvP extravaganza, I, as a massive Klingon fan myself, was happy to pony up for the Kapla.
Yeah, absolutely. That was actually a lot of fun, that video that you put out. So let's talk about the War Room specifically. Your last arc was with that particular feature, and one of the largest comments, even right now in the chat, is War Room's okay, War Room's nice, and even liking the shakeup on it a little bit, but the progression of the War Room is
that's widely in chat. The number one piece of feedback is
the progression is very, very slow. Now, when we talk about features that come out, it's been our understanding, at least up until this latest procedural change within event design. Do you guys still own those features? Do you still own that property? And how do we maintain maintenance over these features? Are there plans for improving the pace of the War Room in the near future?
So I will speak on that in two different sections, I suppose. One, you guys might have noticed there's a good bit of War Room upgrade here in the TC Season Pass.
Yes.
And that is hopefully, don't quote me on it, but hopefully the first of a couple of steps towards trying to get a little bit more War Room upgrade here in our lovely galaxy. As to the broader scope of kind of how these features work, and the maintenance of them, and even the just the time to get a building up to your operations level or something to that effect. We're very aware of of the things that we've been adding to the game, and how long all of these things are going to take to max out, I suppose. I don't think I can speak too much on it, but I will say there are a lot of really cool plans in place for upcoming features and existing features to really, again, streamline and smooth everything out. I think that's my main goal, is to try and have the process feel logical, consistent, smooth, etc. And I think we're moving towards that direction faster than we've ever been. So
it definitely has improved in general. The War Room, being probably that it's one of the newer features, does still kind of feel like an outlier when it comes to the progression. And part of that was in its design itself. You have to participate with the War Room event in order to get the currency to upgrade the War Room. The problem is the War Room events have been run, I think, maybe a little lesser than what we had anticipated. I think originally the community was kind of thinking, okay, this might be a weekly event, kind of like some of the other staple weeklies, the Cerritos event, and now the Gorn Eviscerator event, and this one has fallen to kind of an every other week, and even then we've skipped one or two.
Honestly speaking, from a player standpoint, I am legit confused as when to expect to see the War Room throughout the schedule.
Is there potentially some insight into the regularity of this event? Could that be part of the consistency that we're looking at with upgrading and processing with the War Room?
Yeah, so I don't have any immediate things to say on upcoming consistency for the War Room. It is definitely a tricky balance, especially because the War Room gives you the bonus points in territory capture and in incursions. So in trying to make sure that the War Room makes sense to schedule each month, we're trying to make sure it overlaps with incursions and with territory capture and make it so that there's some synergy there. So oftentimes it makes it a little bit more difficult. It is a topic that is a constant discussion. We're not oblivious to it at all as to, one, the rate of progression through the War Room, two, the consistency of the War Room events running, and three, how those two are interplayed, right? Because of you needing to play the War Room to upgrade it, we understand that you're going to be getting less upgrade materials and such the fewer times we run the event. I don't have anything concrete at the moment. It's definitely being looked into. And as with everything, we're going to continue to look at the feedback and try to adjust to find whatever the best, most consistent solution we can is.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate it very much. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the community favorites, and certainly one of the most animated, the newly coined War Daddy.
War Daddy.
War Daddy from Event Design.
War Daddy did say it. Go look in your TC season pass. You can get 5,000 emblems of honor just by going through the TC season passes arc.
Yeah, if you go through and take a look at the individual milestones, there
Thank you,
are definitely some extra stuff there. So really appreciate that. As we get ready to wrap up, we've got about 3 minutes left. Anything that you would like to ask of the community or any statement that you would like to deliver while we've got a moment? And I do want to address the chat. For some, we actually do have to probably call this out sometimes. And I know that these types of conversations are generally very good for the community and trying to separate. Scopely is a big organization. I mean, the separation of responsibilities is massive. And a lot of players have frequently come back when I've said, hey, well, this is on event design, or this is on game design, or this is on engineering. Like, for example,
focus your feedback in the right direction.
In the right direction. Like, hey, why aren't you, Logan, fixing lag in the game? Well,
just
that's
like you
not your thing.
expertly did on the cruise, by the way.
Yeah.
Good job on that.
Why aren't you fixing lag? I want to make sure, and so I don't want the chat to think that we're ignoring these questions or not addressing the proper. We just know a little bit better about what these job separations are, and engineering and lag, not your bag, right? I think we might have confused a few community members a few minutes ago when we're talking about the bug fixes, but bug fixes that we're talking about specifically are more in the event design, event scoring, milestones, rewards. So I want to be very, very clear about that. He is not responsible for fixing
He's not
all
the lag doctor.
bugs.
Not the lag doctor. He's the War Daddy.
He's War Daddy, okay? But while we do that, and I wanted to address that in the chat very quickly, is there anything that you would like to ask of our audience or ask of us, or anything that you would like to say to our community before our time expires here?
Actually, I'll kind of riff off of that point. this chat in specific, you guys are fantastic at, in some respects, giving us our flowers. But I think the positivity that you guys bring to a lot of things is super helpful in just making sure we know where we should be heading to. We see a lot of course, a ton of negative feedback, things that we can improve on. But, even the couple of positive comments that I saw in Galaxy chat around the, the season pass update, it's like, oh, okay, this is a direction, players appreciate. These are, building currencies they'd like to see more of. Giving feedback is fantastic. Please let us know if you like stuff too, right? If you really enjoy the patch notes video, go like the patch notes video. If you really enjoy the piece of content, let us know in Galaxy chat that we really knocked it out of the park with this one. That way we can just be balanced in knowing. Also,
the memes keep rolling, man. I'm sorry.
The memes are fantastic. I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate you having me on the show as well, DJs. You guys are hilarious.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the community favorites, and he is indeed, that is event designer from LiveOps. That is Logan. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, DJs. Thank you, Griffin. Take care, all.
We're going to take a very quick break, and when we return, we'll spend a few more minutes with Obsidian Hamster, but we do actually have another guest, one that you guys all know and, 50-50 kind of love.
Oh, wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, former community manager and the newest member of LiveOps, Echo, is coming to our stage here in just a few minutes. And, yes, we are expecting, hopefully, if it's not too cold in this room. She said she would come in and chat with us for a few minutes, but she said I had the air conditioning turned down too low. Now, we've talked about this in the past. Before we go to break, we've talked about this on the show. She has come on the show. It has sparked conversation within the community as to what you keep your house at, or like if you travel to a hotel. My hotel AC right now is set to 66 degrees.
Right? She's just like my girlfriend at home, who I call Skinny Penguin. She is always on the thermostat. Turn it up, turn it up.
She has her heat set to 78.
78 degrees.
In this room, right here and now, there are so many electronics, and we're roasting hot. The AC is set at 66. It's still blowing. I'm still sweating. And she says, I literally can't step into the room. So we might have to make a small sacrifice.
We will be glistening with sweat for your enjoyment to bring in Beck Likes Plants.
Beck Likes Plants will be here momentarily as well. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is UltimatDJz. This is Talking Trek Live, Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast. We will return right after a word from these sponsors. Today's show brought to you in part by the Musgrove Trial Firm in Georgia. Have you suffered personal injury in Georgia? You need a buddy. Give Buddy at the Musgrove Trial Firm a call, 678-226-1994. Visit them online at musgrovetrialfirm.com. This portion of the show brought to you by CrazyBunch.org. Are you old like Bubba Joe and get tired playing video games? Surtail has a solution for your health and wellness needs, especially while gaming. You could try an energy gummy for those long incursion events, or just to keep yourself conscious while you're doing all that mining. Surtail is an independent distributor of all aerial products you'll need to improve your gaming experience. Message Surtail on Discord or visit CrazyBunch.org for more information. Yo, what's up, Commanders? Great news about PvPTarget.com. You've known for a while that it exists and has some great reference tools regarding PvP banding and common crew loadouts, but they've recently launched brand new tools on the site, including a brand new cargo calculator page as well. This isn't your typical max cargo style calculator, but a brand new, unique tool that identifies the timer until you go over cargo. The game timer might tell you how long to zero the node, but how long until your miner is at risk? You can find out now by using the brand spanking new cargo calculator at PvPTarget.com.
Well, now, the vibration. Hey,
Summertime
keep it hot,
and the living is easy.
real hot.
Fish are jumping
Jump, jump,
and the cotton is high.
real high. Hey,
Oh, you're
You guys liking my vibes? I'm really kind of digging the whole reggae thing here today, man.
It comes off as very authentic with you leading a bumper out of reggae.
Listen, I am just enjoying my time in California.
Who would hire you to be a DJ at a reggae station?
It's
Absolutely nobody.
It's not about the fact that I DJ reggae. It's just that I'm enjoying. I don't know. I am enjoying the summertime vibes out here, man.
I just can't wait for
beautiful. This afternoon, chat. Just so you guys know, this afternoon. We actually did announce yesterday that this show was going to start just a little bit later than it did. Crazy enough, we were early. Okay, we were early because we told yesterday that we were going to start at 1 p.m. Eastern time. We started like 12:20, 12:30. We started early because I am wanting to go to the beach today. When we're done with the show, I'm taking the boys to the beach.
You are going to get burned like a lobster.
Maybe. I am excited for that. I have never swam in the Pacific Ocean. The only time I've ever even touched the sand of the Pacific Ocean was actually when I was here last time here in Los Angeles with Landon, and Ripper was here, and we got some good pictures and stuff on the beach, but I still didn't get in the water because it was cold. It was I think that was September, November, something like that. So here we are in the middle of summer.
Oh, and
that's
for
right,
sure,
Tarpy. I want to go coast to coast in a week. We were at Hilton Head. We were in the Atlantic Ocean, and so I'm taking the boys for the first time ever to the Pacific Ocean today. We are going to swim.
For sure, because it's July, the Pacific Ocean must be warmer now than it was last time you were here, right?
I have been told it's going to be cold. All right.
It is frigid. You will need a wetsuit.
I have been told it's going to be cold, but it's okay.
Your little kitty cat paws are not going to go more than ankle deep in that water. I call it now.
We are going to go play. And that's why. So we wanted to get a little bit early today so that we could wrap up with work a little bit early and go play this afternoon. So, and speaking of playing, this person, our next guest, and by the way, is anybody else surprised that Echo's running late? Anybody else surprised by that?
Who are you? Who are you to judge?
Not judging. I'm just running early today. That's all I'm saying.
Thanks in sole part to our current guest and me.
That
you
is
don't
true.
even wear a watch, which I applaud because that would be so hypocritical if you had a watch on your wrist.
I know. Ladies and gentlemen, would love to welcome our very next guest. You know her and love her, and she is deceptively smart about this upcoming feature. Yesterday, it was a challenge. Put it that way. I don't want to reveal anything yet, but I still won. But it was a challenge.
You won nothing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Beck Likes Plants is here.
Hey, Beck.
There she is.
I feel like challenge is very misleading because I felt zero challenge on your side whatsoever.
Oh, my God. So yesterday, one of the things that can we talk a little bit about what we filmed yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, so yesterday in the afternoon, you guys have actually really enjoyed these segments. I think typically when
I love them.
When we get some people together from outside of Scopely headquarters, you guys have kind of made it almost a tradition now to have a little bit of a game show. We play the Trek Trivia.
Yeah, every 6 months or so.
And we came in to play Trek Trivia yesterday. Me and Griffin and Scribbler was here, and
we played nothing. We got played.
Oh yeah,
because between the three of us, I mean, I don't want to spoil the video, but let's just say that the results were definitely not fair and balanced.
In no way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, we'll leave it right here. This next version of Trek Trivia is an absolute must-see.
I thought I knew it all. I got donkey kicked. I did.
I still won.
We can talk a little bit. I mean, it's not really a secret. I don't mind sharing what we did.
You go ahead and tell as much as you like. I think
I even mentioned it on the live stream.
Scored a lot of points.
To be honest,
we thought that we were going to come in from some good old fashioned Star Trek trivia.
we thought.
Oh yeah, we thought. The subsequent content turned out not to be Star Trek trivia, but rather Galaxy Quest trivia.
It was Galaxy Quest trivia, which nobody was told. Other than the person that wrote the questions, nobody was told that it was Galaxy Quest trivia because it was still labeled as Trek trivia on the itinerary.
Yeah.
that Trader Obsidian Hamster was the MC, and he made all the questions, and he did not clue any of us in advance.
Further, Obsidian Hamster continued to Gryffindor-style deduct points from my house.
He did. I blinked wrong, and I got like -5 points.
I got minus points for correcting him on one thing because I think he mispronounced like one of the names. You guys will learn. I very much like Galaxy Quest, but I think I let him know he mispronounced something. He's like, "You corrected me, minus
can't
X amount of
correct the
points."
host.
He is a little bit of a stickler. I did not know that about. That's the obsidian in the hamster because he definitely.
We'll see if we let him do it again.
Well, he definitely ruled with an iron fist, but he was fair.
He did. A fair, okay. I don't know about all that either. Listen, I am not jealous at all of the producer of that video for having to try to keep up with the scores.
I know.
Yeah, he was just
Shout out to JJ, man.
he was
That guy.
flinging points all over the place out there. So Divine says I got one question right. That would be optimistic. All right.
You did get the one that I accidentally flubbed the word and I corrected myself. And then you stole it because I told you the answer.
There are a couple of opportunities that I took.
Yes.
I lost points because I had the right answer, but I spelled it wrong.
Yeah, I had. Wait, Captain Q says, why is the guest camera inverted? We're looking the same direction.
The
What?
guest camera's not inverted. We are
Should
looking
I-
that way.
No.
Should I look this way?
Wait. Listen.
Like the Thermians look at the.
Okay, first it's the tape on the wall. Now it's the direction of
now
what
it's the
camera
command
is.
strip.
Look, guys.
Yes, quit fussing.
My closet is not that grand, okay? Okay? I offered it today.
Yeah, we are actually taping inside of a smaller room than expected. And when we came in today, I actually didn't want to touch anything. We came in, we had our room assignment, and we started to set up. And I had to call Beck because I was like, I don't want to touch anything.
There's like a
in
massive
here.
tangled wire in here. Look, that guy actually folded all your cables up for you.
Thank you
They're all
so
organized
much.
by color.
They are
and by,
in like a row?
yeah,
That's
they're all
so
sorted
nice
by
of
data
you.
and by power. And
Yeah.
I put some lights
you
behind
even
you.
put my T-Rex battery on the shelf.
I
Thank
did.
you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, the room has been
You know, that's what I should have worn.
gone
Just
from
keep
like
warm because it's like my air,
Are you
my
still
breath
cold?
being. It says 67.
Blanket. Blanket.
As a matter of fact, you know what we did find when we were rummaging around in here?
What?
We found Beck's inflatable dinosaur costume.
We did.
Yeah.
It's still here. It's still at 82.
Would that help you keep warm if you
Honestly, it might because you're just like recirculating your air because your face is inside of it. You know.
had? We found.
Not everybody knows about that, but I wore an inflatable T-Rex costume. They did like a Halloween thing here on campus, and one thing that you guys should know, outside of probably like this, the team that I work with specifically, I'm pretty introverted. I'm pretty shy, and this Scopely office has all the teams, right? So I don't really know a lot of people. And they did this Halloween event, and they encouraged people to show up, and you got a prize if you won the costume contest. And I don't know what came over me, but I showed up to work in an inflatable T-Rex costume, and nobody. And the thing is, nobody knows who I am.
because
you
you're
can't-
in the T-Rex.
Well, for two things. You can't see who it is in the T-Rex costume, and secondly, they don't know me anyway. So throughout the day, I'm like walking around. We had like barbecue that day, and I'm walking around with my plate of food, and the head's like bobbing around, and the tail's swishing back and forth. And I have all these people like, who in the world is this person?
walking around
Like,
in a dinosaur
I entered into the
outfit.
contest. I didn't win, but at the end, I unzipped, and I just had these people like, I don't know if I've ever seen this woman in my life before.
that is so great. But what a great, it's for an introvert, you're like hiding behind a mask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that was wonderful.
yeah, it was fun. I had people like randomly taking pictures of me. It went on the internet somewhere. It was great.
Yeah, we've actually
We've
got
seen
some-
it.
We've got pictures. I'm pretty sure that
I
we
thought we had
posted it.
video.
We
I
posted
think
a
I
picture.
sent some, at least to like the content creators. I definitely did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got some of those. I don't know if I'm going to find it real quick. Maybe the chat can help me find it real quick. We'll throw it up on the screen for those of you
Very
in
silly.
the
Very
live
silly.
stream. It was a great costume, which actually we don't need to because it's here.
It is literally here. It is right there.
Perhaps-
It is literally right there.
Perhaps we might be
She's
able
not
to
going to get in the costume.
I'm not gonna get in the costume.
convince Beck
She's
to
not going to
get
get in the
I'm
costume.
not going to do it.
in the costume today.
She's not going to get in the costume.
I embarrass myself all the time around you guys. I don't need like one more thing. You know what I'm saying? And I even said yesterday, like going back to the previous conversation when we did trivia, I literally looked at DJ because DJ and I faced off against each other. DJ requested that I do
Oh
that.
no!
What a mistake
No,
that
don't
was.
put that on me. The community wanted to see this
Oh, okay,
face off.
okay. The community wanted to see the face off.
In all fairness, if it had been Trek trivia, I feel like I would have done okay. The timing
Well,
of this,
yeah, you've seen.
the timing of this was bad. You went along with it. You were playing me. You went along with this, knowing that we were going to end up head to head, and that you were just going to beat the snot out of me.
I told you ahead of time, chat. I looked at DJ right in the eyeballs. What, the day before, or no? Because we didn't see each other the day before. The morning of, looked him right in the eyeballs, and I said, I just want you to know, I am going to beat you really badly. Because what some of you guys know this from just before, but I was raised on this movie. It is one of my absolute favorite movies. I think I have it memorized. I am, you know how some people have certain things that they're just kind of obsessed with. That's me with Galaxy Quest. And I even said 2 things during our trivia. I said people are going to think I cheated, and people are also going to realize that I'm a much larger nerd than they probably thought I was.
Absolutely.
So-
You are a relatively newer fan to Trek. I guess probably 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, last
I can
2.5 years.
personally speak to your Trek fandom, though. Like, you do love it. We were talking about this the other day.
Oh, she can hold her own.
For the
Yeah.
last
Finally.
year and a half, you had mentioned that really there's not been a whole lot of television or movies that you watch that haven't been Trek. Like,
Well, I
you've
don't
been
watch
really,
TV.
Right.
At all. And so Paramount Plus is, I'm subscribed to that. And I started diving in 2 years ago. And I was trying to do the whole watch several series at a time thing.
yeah,
and
it's
that
hard.
was really hard.
Yeah.
And so actually last fall is when I really deep dove into TNG. And that's, I went all the way through that. And then I'm still working through Voyager right now. Had DS9, had Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks. But I want to get through Voyager so that way I can watch Picard.
What season of Voyager are you on?
3.
I'll tell you.
It really starts to kind of get good.
Voyager,
That's what everyone says,
Voyager
yeah.
is my
I
favorite.
mean, it was
and
already
I'll get
good.
hate for that, but especially at season 3 into 4, and then you
Yeah.
get into 5, 6, 7. Ugh. If you
Voyager
love
Voyager
Janeway
started
now,
off
you're
strong.
gonna
I love
absolutely
Janeway.
love Janeway at the
Absolutely love Janeway.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I understand why I like Janeway so much, knowing the way that I work. So
end. Yeah, there's a lot of nurturing and motherhood and mentorship. You have a lot in common in your work style, which I have seen.
I don't
that
know
you
if
have
anybody
not.
would call me nurturing.
You are with you're firm, but you're fair and you're loving, and there's support behind it as Janeway. So
Potential
you
spam.
could very well be the Janeway of this office. I will go on record as saying that based on how you interact with other people, including you, because you would be like the flunky season 1 Tom Paris, who's always causing trouble, doesn't want to really be here, drunk half the time.
I don't know, man. Sometimes whenever he's getting into all of his, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? It definitely reminds me of some Neelix vibes of.
You would be like a Paris Neelix crossed, like Tuvix,
Like
but with
Tuvix,
but with Paris and Neelix.
Puvix?
Is Echo here yet?
Cervix.
Is Echo ready?
Carrots?
I'm done with this
Puvix?
segment.
Oh,
All
you
right,
can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
No. By the way, I can't see any chat. So if you guys are saying anything, I can't.
Actually, there's
Parlays.
a wonderful meme of you in
Oh,
your
no.
dinosaur outfit on the
Oh,
beach
really?
with a surfboard right now.
Oh, it's me?
Yeah, no, I mean, yes,
knew?
sure, obviously, it's absolutely you. Listen, we are, turn Beck green. Okay, we've done
I've
it
been
with.
turned green before. I don't need it again.
We've done it with all of our guests here today. Community,
All of them?
get, yes. There,
wow.
There you go. There you go. Is that green enough, or is that more yellow? No, that's good. There you go, community.
No, that is amazing, but we should make her blue like Avatar with that hair.
She likes plants. She's clearly got to be green.
Look at the tattoo with the color correction.
It looks great, doesn't it?
It looks amazing.
All right, Voltron says there's too much yellow in there. Let's fix that up real quick, and then we'll get ready to move into too much yellow. No,
I'm
see, that's
telling
too
you,
much
Avatar-
blue.
Avatar
I think
time.
I think we pretty much had it. I think we pretty much had
You're
it right
gonna
there.
love how your sleeves look with this overlay.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now. How if you must, but the tats look sick right now.
All right, yeah, it's a good look. They're popping. Oh man, see,
Oh, now she's hiding them.
Oh, am I supposed to?
there.
Yes,
Like, what am I
vogue.
supposed to-
Definitely
what do I
keep
do with my
voguing.
hands?
Just keep voguing.
There you go. All right. They want to see
I wasn't even
Blue.
supposed to come in here today.
Oh, Blue looks great.
I told you with the black
There
hair,
you go,
it's just
the
like Avatar.
Blue. That's good. All right, fantastic. All right, there you go.
That's great.
Chat. That's what you get. Okay.
I was ready to come in here for round 2. I thought you were gonna cheat.
Not
and I
a
was so
chance.
ready. I was absolutely ready.
Not a chance.
Guys,
that
they
I'm
told
going
me,
back.
hey, we made the room warm, which was a lie.
It is much warmer now.
And
It is much warmer now. This is warm compared to what this cat has it at. Let me tell you.
I don't know how you live in a world where you keep your room at 40 degrees.
60.
Same thing.
66. All right. Listen, guys, we're going to actually, he's probably not here yet. He told me that he was going to be here at like 2:25. He was slated a little earlier than that, but it wouldn't be Echo if he didn't come in fashionably late. That's right. Beck loves Smurfs. There's that. Nolo says 66 degrees is the best. Not Celsius. What's wrong with you? Oh,
66? No.
That's
No,
a
no,
good
no.
looking meme right there.
I'm telling you.
There's some good memes coming into chat. Good job, guys. Well done.
Thanks for encouraging.
You're welcome. Hammy may or may not have offered a contest for people to take the colored memes and make them into a new.
Where'd you get this candy from?
From the commissary. It's out in the open for anybody to take. I just,
You just grabbed like a whole bowl
I told
of
you
candy
not to do
and
To be fair, there's only 6 pieces in there. You don't know
that's
how many were
definitely more
Now-
than 6. And there's wrappers.
those were here.
I didn't do
when
this.
we got here.
You know
those
what?
were here when we got here.
I saw nothing.
They're for throwing at DJs if he says something inappropriate. I already got him
Were,
right.
I
were they good
actually-
though? Were they good?
Did
Smell
not.
good.
It's banana.
Oh, that one is?
Yeah, it's a
Definitely give me banana.
We're talking about taffy, and this taffy is Minions taffy, and of course it's banana flavored because it's Minions.
Speaking of, they actually put out a thing of desserts, and I'm probably going to steal some because they actually put a whole tray out of banana pudding.
banana
Oh
pudding.
God! I wish I had my stream deck right now. Hey,
A whole
Puddin'.
thing. A whole thing.
Hey, Pud.
I was gonna bring
give
you
her a
some.
chipmunk cake pudding.
Hey, pudding.
That sounds so creepy in person.
I
when
know.
It's not
It's a lot
elevated.
different. It's a different vibe.
pudding.
All right, guys. Listen, we are going to take our final break as we're waiting for Echo to show up. Thank you so much, Beck, for stopping by. Real quick, before we let you run, obviously it's been a very crazy, really 24 hours. I would say 2 days, 48 hours, but we're really at the 24-hour mark right now, and it's been almost nonstop. You have authorized us to reveal to the community that you've got a content drop coming tomorrow.
Ooh.
Right?
Yes.
Where can players find it? What is it that you're leaking? How much are you leaking today?
I'm not leaking anything today, but there are a couple things coming out tomorrow. I would just keep an eye on official channels. We'll make sure that we'll put something out for everybody to catch a hold. What I will say, there are things coming out every couple of days.
So you've got
I've
a
got more
schedule.
things.
You've got a schedule plan. We
do.
got Thursday.
Do I have a schedule?
Okay,
She's
that's fair.
born within a schedule every
Although-
couple of days. So that means Thursday, maybe a couple days after Thursday.
Maybe Saturday.
I'll see. We leak
Saturday.
Saturday. We leak Saturday.
Okay.
Write that down. Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday announcement. Yeah, Herps is saying that it's got to be an announcement. Can't really be leaks anymore because they're official. Apparently, there was a conversation yesterday that leaks can only come from me.
Okay.
And that
That's just because you're so good at it.
I am. And that announcements would come from you because you're official, right?
I see. So
guess.
I shouldn't do them that early and call them leaks. I should
See,
just
this
wait
is what
until I
happens. This is what
officially
happens
announce.
when you guys
See?
poke the bear. Don't poke the bear because
Chat.
when you poke the bear, that's when bad things
You're
happen.
messing it up.
Don't poke the bear.
All right.
No.
Let's just all agree that tomorrow something
fair.
amazing is going to be released for everybody to enjoy, and it's probably going to have something to do with what's coming up in a couple of weeks, and it might be a further whet of the appetite. Is that fair to say, Beck likes Pants?
I would say you get a little more each time, but I'm surprised. Not surprised. I'm looking forward to the things that are gonna be shared tomorrow because, like I said, it's just gonna build a little bit more.
Let me ask this very quickly. Now,
Sure.
a lot of our community has seen the movie Galaxy Quest.
'Kay.
There are some who,
I watched it last night when I was supposed to be at dinner, but somebody
Did
else
you end up
forgot.
watching it?
Yeah, because DJs forgot I was here and just left me in my hotel room
I'm
while
so
he
proud
went
of
out to
you.
party. I'm just like, I'll just watch Galaxy
She's
Quest.
proud of you for watching Galaxy Quest.
Dude.
Now,
It was probably a better use of my time. And it is a super enjoyable movie that I had not seen in probably 5 years, because it is not my movie like yours is The Wizard, 1989, Fred Savage, video games. I have that movie memorized. Just
okay.
that was my childhood comfort movie
Okay, yeah.
into my teens, and so
Everyone's
I get it.
got one.
Everyone
yeah.
has one. And so watching Galaxy Quest again, I know DJs, you just watched it last month on
I
stream
did.
with
I watched it
everybody.
about a month ago. Yeah.
It's such a great film with such a great cast and such a great and compelling story, a movie within a movie. And I absolutely had an awesome time watching it last night. I'm glad I did.
I think like one of the cute things is before I was even here, and I was just in the community and whatnot. I had talked about like my love for Galaxy Quest, and literally everybody in STFC told me you just need to start watching Trek if you like Galaxy Quest because it's a parody.
Right.
And I had gone back and rewatched the movie after I'd started watching Star Trek, and I'd had a much different appreciation for it at that point because I just loved it for being a movie, you know, and then now I love it for it being like showing love to Trek. So it's got a special place in my heart personally, but that's just me.
You're going to absolutely recommend that people take this next 2 weeks and find an opportunity, find a chance to go in and watch this, to kind of be prepared. As a matter of fact, for people who are not as 100% Trek invested, if they haven't seen all the different properties, if they haven't seen all the movies, if they haven't seen everything, this is actually going to be an easier one to catch up on. Like, you can actually watch one movie and be prepared for this next arc as compared to a whole season or a whole series of movies.
Or a whole comic book.
Yeah, a whole comic book series.
But they do have comic books, actually.
They do.
They do. IDW, who also does the Trek comics, puts them out.
Yeah, I just did the Mirror Universe IDW book
yeah.
just 2 months ago.
So, absolutely. Part of the reason, and I'm going to end with one good actual Scopely question because people accuse us of burning time, which we kind of were because he was late.
He can't help it. It's not about burning time.
He's not late.
It's
he
just
had
how
a
he's wired.
schedule.
I'm on time.
He came in quietly and is now sitting in the floor.
He said 2:30.
I
Schedule itinerary says 2:30.
To be honest, this is actually my fault.
What?
Yeah.
No, we're not. We're going to save that story for another day. One last real question.
Sure.
The community did react yesterday strongly to the
Very
announcement.
passionately.
To the announcement of the Galaxy Quest crossover.
Initially.
The more we talked with Hammy about this, the more people sat down and kind of thought about it. Any crossover announcement was going to take everybody by surprise, right? Anything is going to feel weird right at the time that it happens. But yesterday, the more and more we talked about it, the more people were starting to look at, okay, well, let's reserve judgment for the utility, the impact to the game, what it's going to do for the game, how they bring it in,
Absolutely,
and so forth.
yeah.
And because a lot of successful crossovers have happened in comic books, movies, TV shows, things like that. So, however, it was peculiar that you brought everybody out and that we were all here and that you guys chose, like you had even mentioned yesterday, we probably won't do this on the regular, but for this one, we wanted to announce early.
Yeah.
From a comms director position, this probably was 100% intended, knowing that the reaction was probably going to be strong until people was able to absorb it.
Exactly. Yeah. This is, I mean, I don't want people thinking, hey, like we're doing Galaxy Quest and we're not doing any more Trek ever again. Like that. This is a crossover arc. It is a crossover arc. There's a lot of Trek in the pipeline, so I don't want to freak anybody out about that. But, you know, we had announced on the roadmap that we would have our first crossover, but we know that it was going to take people by surprise. It was going to be something that needed to be digested. We knew there was going to be a lot of conversation around it and whatnot. And we could have done the whole, like, let's wait until midnight, you know, but really didn't want to do that. Really wanted to accurately give people time to absorb that information. Also, like, kind of hear thoughts and whatnot, because it's our first crossover, right? So we also want to see, like, the feedback, like the initial feedback, what the feedback looks like going into the arc after we start revealing. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, I'll probably share some features and some content before the arc actually launches.
Nice.
So kind of watching these channels and same thing like what we did with Mirror Universe, right? Like watching those day of and then those few days out and then, you know, throughout the weeks, because this will determine if we do stuff like this in the future. But yeah, like, I mean, speaking totally away from the fact that this is like my favorite movie in the world, I promise you guys I had nothing to do with it. I wish I did. I had nothing
From
to
a
do with it.
decision-making standpoint.
From a decision-making standpoint, yeah. Obviously, like, the nerd in me was very excited, and I realized very quickly that I think I'm, like, the only, like, true, like, Galaxy Quest fan on staff as well after yesterday. But no, like, really wanted to give our players time to absorb because it is new. Like, anytime you do something new and different, that means taking that time, you know?
And part of the reason that I asked that question as we kind of get ready to wrap up here is she is the digital communications director, and I think that it was very intelligent. And I say, listen,
It's no, yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was
Digital content.
I'm not digital content anymore. But yeah.
Just promotion after promotion.
No,
She is
no.
vice president of
No, I'm
Scopely
not.
now.
No, I'm
That's
not.
because
No,
she
no.
keeps poisoning her superiors with chicken wings, and they all die. And then, well, lo and behold, here's Beck to take over.
I was waiting to get an email about
The
us talking
mirror
about that
Beck
yesterday.
Inquisitor
yeah.
back and she just keeps poisoning her bosses and
With
keeps
chicken
getting
wings.
promoted.
No,
Yeah.
no, I just
Empress Beck, Inquisitor Beck.
You know,
yeah.
that's it. I'm gonna have that added to my title now. Empress Beck.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I thought, you know, despite what players think about it, and I saw Cruzito ask this in chat, and we've done hours of content on this now, Griffin. I have not changed my perspective on the content. I am still, you know, as mentioned, and I'm going to say it again for those who haven't listened to all the content we've done this week, is that narratively, I am curious how this is going to tie in. Utility-wise, I am always willing to be a little bit more flex with the narrative. I'm always willing to be a little bit more giving or provide a little bit of leeway with narrative if it has a positive impact on my game. What I am most interested in is how I play the game and extra loops, right, and extra costs and how things are going to impact the game. So I am willing myself, Cruzito, to take a little bit of time, digest, and have some conversations with you guys about the idea of crossovers, but to reserve passing judgment until we see what it does for the game. It could still ultimately fail, but
or succeed.
But I want to see what it does for the game. And if it has a huge monumental impact in improving my gameplay, then I'm willing to accept the fact that we've got some fun, quirky going on here that might not necessarily fit in with the normal idea of Trek, but any crossover was going to feel weird at first. And I think for me, utility is going to play a big part.
Fun and quirky is what I always look forward to. And this is exactly to your point, DJ, why I said initially a moment ago when I said that people are initially not as receptive, and I stand behind that statement. Because as time went on yesterday and people had a chance to really think about that process and what really matters in this game, the feedback, if you watched the live stream number 2 yesterday, was overwhelmingly more positive. We talked to 8 or 9 players on our live stream. They came right up on stage and voiced their opinions. And
more positive might not be as accurate as it was less negative. Right?
Okay.
There's a difference there. Being positive about it would imply that we're super excited about it, and we're not quite there yet, but it's also only been 24 hours.
That's true. The minority of the players are excited by far.
I think less negative and a little bit more let's reserve judgment.
Yeah,
and I think that's a fair spot to be.
I mean, I'm 10 times still more upset about frickin' Neelix being the morale officer than I am this. I mean, be mad at the right thing. And that I get on board with.
That's fair.
Come
now,
on.
the chat is natively, anytime I give an opinion, it's different than your guys' outcome, the shilly remarks. And that's fine, but I have always prided myself in my content and being objective and reserved.
Fair and balanced, just like the news.
And balanced, okay? Captain Q says, I agree, DJ. What is the feature? And Beck, we're not ready to reveal that just yet, but that is coming soon.
I did say earlier that we're going to say things every few days.
So there you go, community. More information coming, and hopefully, to Q's point, let's start to shift the focus from the narrative to the utility, and over the next several days, hopefully we'll see a few more bits of information about the utility and what it's actually going to do for our game.
Griffin has already emotionally bought all of the packs. That may or may not be true.
That
Well,
might,
you know, you
might
gotta watch
actually
the
be a
movie a
thing.
couple
But
more
in all
times too.
seriousness, I really want to thank Beck Likes Plants for the hospitality and for trying new things. This is a new thing in terms of the communication, getting things out weeks in advance, being very transparent and forthcoming with this information so we can all mentally digest it, prepare for it, and heck, by the time all of these further announcements are dropped, maybe even get a little excited about it as we do learn about the actual mechanics within the game, which is what matters the most. So, Beck, thank you so much for having us out here and for all the hospitality, your friendship, your support, and the role that you play within your community. I respect and admire very much. You do a great job at what you do. Thank you very much.
Tarpy says, Beck, thanks for your time, lady girl. Ladies and gentlemen, Beck Likes Plants.
There she
Thanks,
goes.
guys. Thanks.
We're going to take a very quick break, and when we return, we finally have him, former community manager and newest member to the LiveOps team, and the creator, designer, and implementer of the Summer Olympic Games series.
I love that. I loved it.
It was a good series of events, and a lot of the community agreed. We're going to talk to him about his insight into that and what some of the data showed and what learnings he's going to take from that moving forward into his LiveOps career. Ladies and gentlemen, Echo will be on the stage here right after this break. My name is UltimatDJz. This is Talking Trek Live. Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast will return right after these words. Today's show brought to you in part by the Musgrove Trial Firm in Georgia. Have you suffered personal injury in Georgia? You need a buddy. Give Buddy at the Musgrove Trial Firm a call. 678-226-1994. Visit them online at musgrovetrialfirm.com. This portion of the show brought to you by crazybunch.org. Are you old like Bubba Joe and get tired playing video games? Surtail has a solution for your health and wellness needs, especially while gaming. You could try an energy gummy for those long incursion events, or just to keep yourself conscious while you're doing all that mining. Surtail is an independent distributor of all aerial products you'll need to improve your gaming experience. Message Surtail on Discord or visit crazybunch.org for more information. Yo, what's up, Commanders? Great news about PvPtarget.com. You've known for a while that it exists and has some great reference tools regarding PvP banding and common crew loadouts, but they've recently launched brand new tools on the site, including a brand new cargo calculator page as well. This isn't your typical max cargo style calculator, but a brand new, unique tool that identifies the timer until you go over cargo. The game timer might tell you how long to zero the node, but how long until your miner is at risk? You can find out now by using the brand spanking new cargo calculator at PvPtarget.com. Griffin, they're making fun of my reggae.
Welcome to Rednecks for Reggae with your host, UltimatDJz.
Oh, come on. I got a whole playlist, man. I was listening to it on the beach, and I was listening to it in the car. My kids also. You guys are not alone. My kids are also like, Dad, what is this garbage? Stop it already.
Maybe you should listen to the popular opinion.
Why don't you stop eating the bowl of all the taffies. Beck was appalled at how much taffy you
She
stole.
was appalled and offended. I think I might get a bill on the way out.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be. Welcome into the stage of Talking Trek Live, Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast. Now, to the Twitch chat's credit, I did say after we had Logan, I said we were going into our final break.
Yes.
Because Echo was supposed to be our final guest. But, he was running late.
Not running late.
He was running behind schedule.
No. Text message I got from DJ last night. Ready? Logan
receipts.
Spotlight, 2:15. Commercial break, 2:30. Gabe Spotlight, 3:15. Conclusion send-off.
No.
Show the chat.
No.
Turn on his camera. Be fair and balanced.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our next guest. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Echo. He's back.
Right.
Listen, do you care if I show our text messages? I don't think there's anything here.
That is completely fine. However, I'm telling you that you read that backwards. The time is on top of you. So right here, 2:30 p.m.
Gabe Spotlight.
Gabe Spotlight, 2:30.
2:30. I got here at 2:24.
You do have that camera flipped.
What?
You have that camera flipped.
The camera's not flipped.
Yeah, his camera's flipped.
It's not flipped.
His camera's flipped.
Transform it. No, it's not.
Well, then you need to flip it because that's flipped.
I can't.
Anyway.
Literally exactly on time.
You were right, Moopsie. Camera's flipped.
It's been flipped this entire time. What? Or are you saying that stuff is reading backwards?
Oh, I showed the text message, and so it was reading backwards.
Yeah.
Wait. So how do I? Okay, hold on. How do I?
Please hold, everybody.
I'm gonna
there
fix
is
it.
there's a studio mode where you can.
That's only when you're using different scenes.
That's
It's all in
not-
the same scene.
That's not
So-
fair or true.
Okay, so how do I flip it? Tell me how to flip it.
Well, I'm not the help
Right
desk
click.
for.
I right clicked.
Are you on OBS?
Yes.
Flip horizontally.
It's grayed
What
out.
are you
It's
clicking
not
on?
going to let me. I transform, and then
I mean, it doesn't matter for me. I don't. It doesn't matter. I'm not showing anything.
That's all right.
Who
Sorry,
cares?
Moopsie. Nobody cares.
Moopsie was
Moopsie,
right
I
the entire
care.
time.
I
Moopsie
just
was
don't
right
care.
the entire time.
Echo is annoyed. Look at his face.
I'm not
did you,
annoyed.
Did you have to wake up early to get here for this?
No. I'm just feeling a little under the weather. That's all.
Aw.
No COVID or anything. Just a little under the weather.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well,
okay.
I do appreciate you being here, ladies and
Of
gentlemen.
course.
Of course, you recognize the voice if you're in podcast and you're taking a look at his beautiful shiny face on stream. It's been a minute since we had you here on our stage, but man, it is so good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to have you back.
What do you mean? It's on the stage. I was.
Well, you were here for the summer games.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm talking about like here with you. Like I gave you a big sweaty hug yesterday.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
It was really nice. He came to dinner last night too, by the way.
I was forgotten. I was literally in the hotel room waiting for his.
He
phone
didn't
call,
actually come to dinner. I was just trying to
No,
twist
I
that knife.
didn't. I didn't go to the dinner.
and I was forgotten at dinner.
He did not want. He was invited. He said
Okay,
no.
literally the one thing that I did wrong for the summer games, literally Pullman already called out. Do you like 63 plus Romulan hostiles? All right, come on. Come on. I fixed it in 10 minutes. And it was the one thing. Anyways.
All right. That is true. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk a little bit. Cruzita said, should I be on Twitch or Discord? We have called out a few visual elements, but most of everything that we've done here, Cruzito, has been talking. And so you can hang out here or you can get the video aspect if you'd like.
There are no visual aids other than the rude transformation of our guest's skin pigmentation.
Oh, okay. So speaking of, let's get that knocked out of the way. Thank you for the reminder. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you Green Gabe.
Oh, wow.
There he is. Go ahead and grab your screenshots, everybody.
Oh, gosh. It's so much easier to do on me, too, because I'm already so pale.
Yeah,
It
there's really
doesn't-
no color correction.
There's really nothing much. You could just shine a green light on me and give you the same effect.
There you go. Vardy says, what is Echo up to these days? You know what? That's a great question, and one that we had on our pre-approved list to talk about.
I didn't approve this.
You don't get to anymore.
I know, it's great.
You don't get to approve anything
I just
anymore.
sit in the chair.
That's right. Let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff that I wanted to go over with you, which is literally, let's start with your first ever event series. Congratulations, man. The Summer Games
Thank you.
was remarkably, I don't want to make it sound like it was surprising, but it's very rare that you get so many players that actually can agree that a series of events was overwhelmingly popular.
I was highly entertained.
I was impressed
I was
by the fact
shocked
that,
too, honestly.
Yeah, I was kind of impressed with the fact that there was not a lot of negativity surrounding those events. Community generally really liked the summer games. So congratulations on that. It was your very first event series.
Yep.
And we had talked a couple of weeks ago on the stage about how you had written it. And I had mentioned even at that time, and thank you for talking to me about it even a couple of months ago. You had consulted with us the entire way. Tell us a little bit about your design process on this. I know it's one thing to ask somebody, how did you write an event, or what did you think about when writing this event? But this was your very first one. I'm sure you were nervous.
Yeah.
I'm sure that you had a million things going through your mind, but your attention to detail was relatively evident. Tell us about how you built this event.
I imagine the community experience played a huge role.
First things first, I need to shout out everybody on the LiveOps team for being helpful, for being there, for teaching me, for showing me things, for supporting me. Because honestly, without the help, the training, the support that people like, we're calling them by their real names out there, right? Chicago,
Logan,
Leland, people like that. I wouldn't never have gotten this over the finish line because it's just a ton of work. These guys do a ton, or guys, girls, how are they? Yeah, ton of work.
Pronouns.
So huge shout out to them.
I mean, this is not the first time we've heard about the teamwork within the Scopely team DJs and
way
how
that
they're
the
really
pods
working
are working.
together, and
Yeah.
it's really good to hear that.
But
That's nice.
Floyd writes it was the only thing that I've really liked this entire year. And Vanadia says best event series of the year. Bender says I really enjoyed the summer games. Tarpy says awesome and appreciated Echo coming into the Discord each day to check for feedback.
Yes.
Divine says no evidence of copy paste. Sanguine Otter says Echo checking in with us every day was mega important to me. This had comms manager, had community manager written all over it, right? I mean,
it's just a different experience, like you were saying. Like, I have a lot of background. I didn't mean to cut you off, DJ. I have a lot of just background in community management. It's like my bread and butter, and I've been playing video games since I was 6 years old. I love video games, and you give me stuff all the time about me not knowing the game, DJ, but I do play the game. And so when I sat down to think about it, I was just thinking about the things that people like in an event series. I'm like, well, all right, what do people like? We like metas, all right? We like clear goals. We like a variety of activities, and we like a free-to-play path to everything. And we like I would like to not really do the tasks. Can I spend my way to complete this? And so I just tried to make sure I had everything. And I thought, like, summer games make sense. They have different things. I'm like, what are the big activities that everybody does in Star Trek all the time or in Fleet Command? It's you kill hostiles, you engage in PvP, either for or against your will. And wow, I'm completely blanking on the last event.
Was it Armadas?
No. I made sure not to do Armadas.
Yeah, community, you guys remember, you guys loved it. Was there
hostiles,
mining?
PvP?
Mining. There was mining in there for sure.
Was there an ATA component?
No.
I remember mining.
Wow, I can't believe I'm blanking on this.
You know what? You went through the
That's
process
so
of writing
bad.
it. You went through the process of writing it, and then it was good. You checked it off the list, and so I can kind of understand you don't remember all the intricate details about it now because it was just you actually, and this is one of our questions. You've already moved on to your next
Domination.
project.
Thank you.
Oh, the power game.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh. So yeah, you gain power, you kill red triangles, and then you fight other real humans.
No
It's like
mining. I'm having a stroke. I thought
And
it
no
was mining.
armadas.
no
either.
armadas, no mining. I thought about it, but like, listen, mining's really important, but it's not the most engaging gameplay unless I'm going to have people go do the Botany Bay active mining that I know people love so much.
And score on docking.
Yeah. And then also like armadas are great. I just felt like it wasn't the time to do armadas for this event.
Sure. Well, it was very diverse. It was very engaging. And I remember I didn't spend my way through it. I actually played my way through it because I had so much fun doing it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was good.
One thing that you said, and I actually texted you after I heard it on your show because you were talking about it, the PvP event.
Yeah.
You were saying that I did all of this smart, like, oh, he kept this metric in here for
Take
these
the win,
reasons.
dude.
No,
Take the win.
I'm not going to take the win. It's a team effort. Literally, the way that event came to be, the PvP events, is that Logan has a bunch of baseline templates for events. Like, this is what you do for, like, a very, very baseline generic event. So I looked at the PvP one, and it just had, like, a couple of example metrics. I'm like, oh, those metrics look good. I'm going to add my ship-specific ones. He baseline had it so that surveyors didn't count, but losses did give you points. So all of that stuff that you gave me credit for, like, that was just already, like, on the template, and I looked at it. I'm like, yeah, that seems about right.
And so I'm going to point this out.
War
which
Daddy.
is, War Daddy out there. That I'm going to point this out because that is actually really good news. That was a template, a newer design template from the guy who was talking about doing these tools and the algorithms and the math guy. The fact that that was there is absolutely really, really good news because that spawned a ton of the conversation. The fact that there were lost points, the fact that surveys were excluded, the fact that you had ship type specific wins counted in there, that was praised as being the way a PvP event should be. Now, you're saying I didn't do anything special on this, which is fine for you to say that. I still think the first time we had ever seen it was in your series.
Sure.
So I think that is great, A. But B, the bigger takeaway is you're telling us that there's now a template for this that should be able to replicate the success of that event in the future.
It's a baseline template for a PvP event that anybody can add and adjust and do things for.
Nice.
Right? So, again, every arc runner, and you've said this millions of times, has their own flavor of things and their own variety and take and spin on things. And so, they might change up if we do another Rialto or ship-specific event, but that is probably how I would like to do it for the future if we do other ship-specific events, just because I think it's nice.
Tank actually mentions an Ops 46 player, a G4 player in our chat, says those PvP events were fun. I don't typically care for PvP, and I enjoyed those events. And that is the recipe for a winning event. When you're able to take, especially something like PvP, which is very divisive anyway. You and I have a ton of history dealing with the community when it comes to PvP events that are impactful to other players. Like, that's the biggest argument in PvP for a PvE player is, well, when I do, my argument's always been, well, there's PvP events, there's going to be PvE events, and let me do what I like to do.
Right.
The big difference that is a fair point is that, generally speaking, PvE events don't negatively impact another player, where PvP events will have to result in somebody blowing up.
Right.
And you found a way, like Tank says, to find a way that PvP was not offensive. PvP was not terrible for people who don't traditionally like it. I think that's a huge thing.
And I think that there's situations, and depending on the events surrounding the other PvP events, where like galaxy-wide is a good thing, right? Like, there's moments where different types of PvP events should exist, but it makes me think like, all right, well, what if we did this where, like, all of Ops or G4 has a system and we incorporate faction ships, but it's segmented so that you bring either your Klingon, your Federation, or your Romulan ship, but you're going against other people of at least similar ship types because, hey, it's only G4 in this system. Like, obviously, it's not going to be perfectly balanced just because...
It can't be, ever.
It's hard.
Yeah.
But at least it will give you a more of like a focused PvP environment where people are like, well, like, what if I crew this? Can I hit up against somebody who's in an auger?
Yeah.
Right? Like, and that seems fun and interesting to me. I don't want to have like a situation where people just getting blown up to get blown up and trade points. I would like it to be at least a mental exercise of like, all right, this guy's way stronger than me, but what could I do?
Well, and there is going to be that. I see Cruzito kind of mentioning that. I see Hellbot mentioning that in the chat. That there were still the traditional ways to complete the event. Crashing my Rialto into minors.
Yeah.
You can do some of that.
Whatever you want.
You can play it how you want, but the fact that there were actually some presentable options in this event made it more palatable to a lot of players. So I think that is a very good thing. Before I go to the next question, I want to say thank you very much and a big shout out to Seth, who is a big fan of you, has been a big fan of Hammy and Beck, becoming very well known throughout the community. Thank you, Seth, for coming in with your very generous contribution on the chat today. Thank you so much. That was very, very kind of you. Echo, you are one of the first public-facing staffers who have made a very visible, very public job role change.
Yeah.
All right. I know that you and I have talked a lot about what formerly serving in community has done for your thought process inside event design, but I'd like for the audience to know, and they have really pointed out today that they are enjoying the inside information, the thought and the design process, the implementation process that you guys are working with now in ops. How has your transition been? And would you describe your specific journey as a very natural one, going from community management into event design? Does it help you when designing events, knowing that there are people that are going to hate this or love this or whatever? I mean, are you drawing from your time in community?
Yeah. I mean, it's impossible for me not to draw on my time in community for what I'm doing inside of my events and now on the LiveOps team. I don't know if I would say it's a natural transition going from like community and marketing and very forward facing to like designing things, because it's very, very different where it's a lot of time in Excel, right? And so I had to hone my Excel skills a lot. But again,
math, you were always so great at the math.
I was good at math.
Okay.
Probably not as good as you, but I'm decent. But again, I want to really shout out just the LiveOps team and the Trek team in general. Like, it's a really good group of people over on the LiveOps team that really care. And when it comes down to it, and you're like, I don't know how to do this, I need help, you've got 3 people willing to take time and support you.
That's awesome.
Like, I've hit up Logan multiple times ad hoc. I'm like, dude, I cannot figure this out. Can you please help me? Mm-hmm. And he just jumps on a Zoom call with me and we handle it in like 10 minutes because he knows what the heck he's doing inside now. And so, but I would say that my time in community definitely gives me a different perspective and lens on things, right? Like, I do take into an account, like, okay, well, people aren't going to like this. They like this. This is what I want them to do. Here's my end goal. Okay, what sort of roadblocks am I going to run into event-wise when this is my end goal of what I want them to do? And like we saw in the summer games, my personal style is I like to try and give as many ways to complete something as possible. Like with the PvP events, you can go slam surveys if you want to and go galaxy-wide and go crazy. Oh, wait, you couldn't slam surveyors. Never mind, sorry. You go around killing
as
everything.
Hellbot said, he took baby ships that were scoring because they were warships.
Yep. Right.
And took the loss points.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yet you still provided that avenue.
I like giving multiple ways to complete something, and I think that's fun. Like, I think that I incentivize doing it a certain way, like the bonus points for using the correct ship in the correct system. But if you really don't feel like doing that, have fun, have a blast. So, and I get to talk to you, right, DJ, about like events and bounce things off you. I'm like, hey, I have these ideas, and I remember from these events back in the day, and the feedback we got was this. What if we modified it like this? Mm-hmm. And that's really valuable. And I don't know if I would have the relationship I have with you if it wasn't for all of that time in community. And then being able just to hop into a Discord channel, right, and talk with people, and people know who I am. And I'm like, hey, I need feedback. Is things working the right way? Can someone please check this for me? And I've got like 6 people in Discord willing to do it and validating for me. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm very lucky in that sense.
I think it was really appreciated by the community seeing you present at Event Reset because you know that there were a ton of times where and it's not possible every single day, but there are certain times when event reset rolls around and something's not popping off right. And then, I'm calling you and you're like, okay, let me try to find, the DRI. Let me try to get with somebody who can help me fix this. It's positive. And I know this is going to sound shilly, community, but it was really positive to see your passion for this project, because all the things that we have talked to you about in the past, the complaints or the things that have gone well, we really saw a lot of that behavior out of you. I fully expect you to get lazy over time and stop showing up.
DJ.
But classic eco.
But no, I mean, in all seriousness, the chat is really right now in real time praising the fact that you were there at Event Reset, that you were asking for feedback, that you were checking on things, because this community, especially our community, has had all too much history knowing the fact that Event Reset sometimes hooks break and things don't go. And our community, especially, the ones who are on at Event Reset, they're going for the gusto. They're going to finish their events quickly.
Right.
So they are amongst the first in the game to know when something is working and not. The fact that you chose this community to come to as your sample, I think was very appreciated by a lot of the players that hang out in the Discords and so forth. So I think there's a lot of kudos there. And again, you can say, listen, Echo and I have had a very awesome professional relationship and a personal relationship.
Yeah,
you
come
guys,
hang out in my car later.
I am going to check out your people are asking about your car.
You
For those
sold
of you
the
who don't know,
evidence, so we'll never know.
for those of you who don't know, he traded his rat trap.
Actually didn't.
What?
I bought my lease out.
Oh,
I
he's
told
a
you
lease
not
buyer.
to do that. Why?
Oh, no, that's the worst. That's the
Why?
most expensive way to own and operate a
Jeez.
vehicle.
Okay, sure, but think about it right now. With this current market, I got a 2022 Honda Civic Sport with 6,000 miles on it for a price you just can't get anywhere.
You already paid
Plus
for
what you
half
already
the car.
paid.
Sure,
Exactly.
but like
ding, ding, ding.
at that point, what was I going to do? Get into another lease, buy another used car that doesn't exist for that price?
Ladies and gentlemen, never lease a vehicle. It is the most expensive way to
I
own and operate a
don't-
motorcycle.
No, you can't say that.
I
It
don't
is.
disagree,
I will
but it
go-
was
I'll
the
do the
correct
math on that
option at the time. We're talking about Star Trek here. Not Eco's bad financial decision.
The
Okay.
good people of this community are still owed a car wash, damn it.
Yeah, that's what he was actually driving at, was come out and look at my car. You're saying that your old rat trap of a car is actually clean.
Ooh.
Is that
I
what
mean,
you're saying?
What's your definition of clean?
Oh, no.
We're going to go actually check this out. Okay, I promise after this stream, I'm walking out to his car. You guys will get an update on the cleanliness of his car. Okay, that's going to happen. Yeah, can we get a Cars crossover with the Pixar Cars? Maybe is that the next crossover we're working on? Echo's car.
Cannot confirm nor deny any future crossover plans that may or may not occur.
That'll be the new skin for the Envoy.
This is fantastic. The chat's going on about this. All right. Reason he bought the lease, he couldn't find the time to clean it. Tarpy wants to know if you're feeling sick today because of the diseases you caught in your car.
We need pics on Discord immediately.
And you wonder why
Pixar
I
didn't
stopped
happen.
showing up. When I'm getting bullied like this, people wonder, oh, Eco stopped responding in Discord. He's getting bullied all the time.
Found
Because he-
quesadillas on the seats.
Yeah, when I'm looking down, I'm actually looking at chat too because I have Twitch up on my phone.
Oh, this is beautiful. I love this. You know what? If the community didn't actually care about you and appreciate you, it's a friendly kind of
Yeah, I can't wait
roasting
for
there.
my first full month where I just name it Eco's Revenge Tour. Oh. And literally every
that's going to be the name of the
event
art.
is a heroic SMS. Every SLB is an XSLB with 5 different servers attached. And I'm just going, all of the event names are just going to be quotes of things people have said to me in Discord that made me feel bad.
This
Will
is
the
trash.
Kobayashi be I hate this stupid game?
Yes, exactly.
I hate this stupid game.
Hey,
Yeah,
our
can we call
community
one getting back to you? We could do that one.
Oh yeah, the getting back to you SMS heroic, and it literally the scoring box that how to like score in it is just retrieving.
I see
some
you.
great ideas
You
here.
put a lot of thought into this.
Yeah.
haven't you?
Listen, I stayed up at a couple of nights when I was getting really yelled at. I'm like, just wait. I'm gonna get them all back for this.
This is going to be great.
The community loves you. Several of them still don't shop at Best Buy in fear of being mugged in solidarity.
Best Buy's going out of business because of you.
Dude, there was a lot of good times in community, huh?
Yeah,
There was
there
a lot of good
really
times.
has been, and I'm really proud of you. I
We're
think
looking into it.
we're looking into it. Let me circle back with you. Yeah, all those classics right there.
Let me verify. Let me validate. Let me verify.
Check on that. I think that it's good. I am personally and professionally very proud of the work that you've done and our relationship as it's grown. And I know that this conversation is going to sound a little less maybe professional or driven as some of the others that we've done, but our relationship
Yeah, my
is,
bad.
It's not bad at all. Our relationship allows for that. And that's why I say, like you guys earlier, can't necessarily get on me for being too shilly, at least not with this human, because this human has ultimately seen me at my worst. We have come to blows on air publicly before. There's been conversations after the fact where I've come out and publicly said, I crossed a line with someone I perceive to be my friend, and so because there's that comfort zone with you, and you had mentioned earlier
We've talked about personal things.
The communication that you and I have, not only about the game, but about our lives and things like that.
I've asked you for advice on some personal stuff a couple of times.
It's been a great relationship, and I'm glad to continue to foster that, and that you, for example, with the summer games, felt willing to call and show up today, as with the other members of the team. It is truly a testament, and people, this is where they don't fully understand. I was actually talking with you about this last night, and Leland, I got to spend a few minutes with yesterday about, some people will a lot of times, and you felt this in community, which this is actually segues into my last question for him. Okay, so I'm not just rambling, Chat. But you and I frequently talked about the politics game. And the spending ammunition, or if you had a bullet in the chamber, like, what am I going to fight for? And a lot of people
can't fight for everything.
Yeah, a lot of people come in and they say, well, DJ should be yelling about this, or he should be fighting about that. Yesterday there was a lot of, drank the corporate Kool-Aid and all this stuff. And to a certain degree, I mean, there are things that Scopely does that I don't agree with all the time. And there are things that I do agree with because it is a business. I got to make money. But there are also certain ways, and I know that a lot of the members of the chat have seen this or in their real life or experienced this, but there's a way to handle things, and it's not always with pitchforks and fire and brimstone. There are sometimes political ways or diplomatic ways to escalate and get things done, which leads me to my final question for you, Echo.
Okay.
Now that you're on the other side of the aisle, there were a lot of times that you and I would talk about, hey, I want to get this done. And you would say, man, like, okay, let's use this one, for example, the bonus refinery.
Yeah.
Right? We pushed for that. You got that done.
Yeah.
When I was pushing you for matching it with a parts refinery, you said, this is one we're not going to win. Like, you told me that the team had made their decision. You were representing the players at that point. You and I were working together on trying to find a way to implement a bonus parts refinery. And you just said, man, the amount of political capital, or the bullet in my chamber that we're going to have to shoot off to try to get some traction on this, it may cost us something down the road, right? And that is, honestly, I think one of the biggest reasons you and I got along the way we did is because I fully understand and recognize that concept. I play that concept. There are things that we have to do sometimes, sacrifices that have to be made, compromises that have to be made when dealing with a company this size. Now that you're on the opposite side of the table, are there things that you and I used to fight or argue for from a player perspective that may not be as easy or as motivating from an event design perspective? For example, we want all the things and we want them for free.
Yep.
Give me an example of something that you now have more insight on than you did before as a community manager, and what can you share about that perspective with the player base?
I gotta move this pillow. This is gonna be a good one. So we'll just start talking with the political capital and like the bullet in the chamber and the thing like that. It's not because the team doesn't want to hear all of these ideas. But the thing that I now realize after building my own event series is it's a lot of work to do any of these things. And so, for instance, I build all of my events. I get all of my rewards done. I'm doing all of this stuff. And let's just say the Summer Games was terrible, right? Hammy comes back to me. He's like, dude, these rewards are just not good enough. You need to change these rewards. You need to change this metric. You need to change this metric. This is what the community wants. I put a ton of time and effort and like everything into this, and it hurts, and it would feel bad if somebody gets back to me and says all of these things. And of course, there's going to be a certain level of like, I'm defensive. I try to do these things. And so it's not so much about using the like political capital. It's more about understanding the process of like, okay, why did we make these decisions? Why was this design done this way? And then looking at what the community is asking for and trying to find like a middle ground if there is one, right? And so things that I would fight for in the past, I think I just have a new perspective on things. I'm just like, the morale officer in Neelix, for instance, is a great thing, right? Or a great example. Great example. Not great thing, sorry. Great example.
Walk it back.
Right. Great example. It's like, sure, we can go and we could probably do all of this changing, but the amount of hours and time to fix it, is it really worth it? And is it really changing the gameplay experience that much? You know, like we're talking like for systems, it's not just like Control-C, Control-V, some new art and switch things around. It's like this is coded into a game. If we're going to be changing all of that stuff around, it takes time. And I'm sure there's somebody in chat who knows code. It's like, actually, let me tell you how this is going to go. And it's one line of code. But
you've heard some of that in your time in community.
Yeah. And it's just things that I would fight for in the past. And you and I would talk about it, DJ. I'm just realizing, I'm like, how big of a how impactful is this going to be in 6 months from now? Is anyone going to remember this change 6 months from now? And if the answer is no, it's probably something that's not that big of a deal overall, or it's just very hot, very fresh in your face. And then it's like, okay, if it's very hot, very fresh in your face, how much time is it going to take to fix it?
Right.
Or how much time? And so it's always a cost-benefit analysis of like, we understand our players don't like this, and we don't like that our players don't like it, but do we focus on fixing this, or do we focus on doing something else, right? And it's a constant juggle of that. And now being on the other side, I can really see the time and the effort it goes into something because, you know, community eco would be like, oh, just fix this. Just change the rewards real quick. It's like, it's not just changing one set of rewards. It's 70 levels of an event, X times worth of rewards. And if those are materials, you're talking segmented out and making sure people are getting the right things. And if you add one extra zero on something, you're breaking the economy. And I have like 6 events launching tomorrow that I still need to double check. And you want me to change this one thing now. How big of a deal is this?
Right.
And that's where my perspective has shifted.
I really like that answer because I have learned some of that stuff too. The time that I spend here is usually very educational because the team has become more open to sharing with us. And I know that the community has appreciated that, but it is like even with Josh talking to us earlier about how just building arcs has changed. You and I talked about this. I don't know if you were listening on the way over. You had talked a year and a half ago about how LiveOps was going to be changing how they build arcs, running pods and teams and supervisor stuff. That came to light, and they talked about that today. So it is kind of interesting to see some of that that has actually come into play, and it is interesting sometimes to see what the implications of something are going to be as related to the time or the bandwidth involved in fixing it. Logan was talking about that a little bit ago. Should we look forward or should we look backward?
Exactly.
So.
And that's what it is. And I'm not saying it's always right to only look forward, and being here in the present isn't sometimes the most important thing. It's just really one of those things where there's only X amount of time and X amount of people. What are we going to do?
Right. Chief Boo says it's fine. Just break the economy.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'll
Great.
take hundreds of trillions of dilithium, please. Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, no big deal.
You don't look back, but you do take the lessons that you learn with you as you look forward, and that's the whole point. And I see that happening a lot within this company and within this game this year, not only from the game design standpoint, and are there still bugs and is there still lag, of course, but has the implementation been improved year over year? Yeah. And then from the customer service standpoint, where I give the huge shout out to Sierra and her team and the lessons that have been learned within this organization and how they treat their customers today versus, say, 2 years ago. Huge improvements and huge changes. Change does take time, but you do take your lessons and you take them forward with you. I have done that in my career. I had a 17-year career in consumer electronics. I managed 500 people, $150 million in sales a year, huge jobs. And I cannot tell you that I didn't make mistakes. I made them every day, every week. So for those of us who say, well, get it right the first time, I invite you to look at yourself in your own career and how often you make mistakes. It happens, but you do learn from them. And do you make them a second, a third, and fourth time? Hopefully not. That's the whole point.
Yeah. I do see Cruzito's comment in the chat, and this is something that we actually have talked about in the past. It's why it was such a huge thing that we were able to talk to Logan about, and why I really wanted to spend some time talking about the automation and the tools and stuff today, because Cruzito's pointing out, it sounds like we have to look at better architecture, tech to simplify the ARC building process. And honestly, I think that's exactly, you and I talked about that. I think that's exactly what Logan has been working on. It does take time to build that stuff.
And sorry, go ahead. I interrupted.
But it's not going to be a flip of the switch kind of process.
Exactly. And I saw someone the rewards should just scale. I think Blue Mandalorian said that. Hi, Blue. Logan's tooling does that, right? It basically hey, this is what I need. This is how much of it I need, and it populates. Logan's magic tool is incredible.
His magic tools.
But
what
you're still doing the process of the tool, which takes a little time to run, and then that's you're in a Excel sheet. Then you still got to take that Excel sheet and do all the things to upload it, and that means turning the event off, comping everybody, re-uploading the new thing, turning the event back on. These are things that are unavoidable.
The hooks, the codes.
You have there's still a process. It's not Logan has made things very simple in terms of creating some things, but the process of getting it from sheet to in game is still a thing.
Right.
And so
things that
it's hard.
Things that you've learned since being in the Excel world of spreadsheeting.
I'm more just shocked, and just again, huge shout out to everybody, game design, the production, LiveOps, they do a lot of stuff every day.
Oh, yeah.
I am shocked at how fast 8 hours goes by these days when I was working on my event series. And so, yeah, now I understand if I come to them, past CM Gabe, with 6 things, hey, we need to fix this, 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 and this. It's whoa, listen.
Which one are we going to do? Yeah.
Listen, your intention is good, and I understand where the players are coming from this, but dog, I'm only one person.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, that's the problem. 8 hours a day. This is game design. We need you here a solid 16.
Yeah, please. 20-hour days here.
Listen,
buddy.
I'm not going to say that me and Leland weren't up until 8 p.m. doing balancing for my Summer Games rewards by ourselves.
There you go.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Sure, it's not
I know that to be true.
Day.
I know that to be true because you and I talked the night before it launched.
I know.
So, yeah, there's that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are out of our time here today. I would love to I'm glad that we finished with you, had a few extra minutes with you. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, yes, you can hear the love music playing in the background. It's a beautiful bromance that has flourished over the last 3-4 years. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend and newest member to the LiveOps team, community manager Echo. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Echo.
Thank you both.
Great to see you.
And with that, community, we have hit our time. There is a schedule, as after all, Beck told you about, and we are 4 minutes over it. I'm pretty sure someone's going to knock through that door here any second.
Security is going to take your badge.
Ready to clean this room and sweep it out and get ready.
Security's already there to check your bags to make sure you didn't take anything from this room.
Listen, security, literally, and you guys are going to see video evidence of this. All right, because I was appalled and disgusted.
Well,
by
it just depends on how important you are to the ecosystem, and who you have meetings with, and how much money you're bringing in.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you're not the biggest dog on campus in the DJ's family anymore.
You guys will learn a little bit more about what he's talking about and how I was made to wait at a security checkpoint yesterday upon arriving at the Scopely headquarters, Echo. It certainly wasn't as fast and loose as it was when you were in charge around here. But listen, I was able to steal Captain America's shield under your watch.
Literally, all of these changes happened because we trusted you and you played fast and loose.
They changed all this security protocol because of little old me. I love it. All right. With that, though, community, I want to say thank you guys so very, very much. It's been a wonderful show. I hope that we have provided a little bit of insight. Today's show was not meant to be a state of the game. Today's show was not meant to be a talk about how to play events or this or that. It was meant to be a peek inside Scopely's headquarters, inside the minds of the developers and into the event writers and how the process works. And I hope we've delivered that for you a little bit here today. We've got more content to come. Don't forget, tomorrow, Beck Likes Plants will be releasing a new not before seen leak into, or announcement or teaser, whatever you want to call it.
It's an announcement.
Into more of the Galaxy Quest crossover event series that is coming in the month of August. In the meantime, we are going to get ready to head on out of here as we prepare to pack up and head back towards the East Coast. It's been a wonderful visit out here, and I'd like to say thank you very much to all the hospitality from the Scopely team, especially Beck Likes Plants, for putting everything together and organizing all of this chaos over the last 2 days. And thank you to our community who's been very, very patient throughout the month of July with our erratic content schedule, but have tuned in to be here, not only for the official live stream yesterday, but our live stream and podcast last night in the Community Roundtable, and here today inside the eyes and ears of Scopely LiveOps. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you this content. My name is UltimatDJz. Thanking you very much for being a part of our show. That's Griffin.
Thanks, everybody.
He's going to get dinner tonight, I promise.
No, thanks to you.
Well, we'll do that. I would like to invite you to visit our website at TalkingTrekSTFC.com. That's TalkingTrekSTFC.com, where you can find links over to our YouTube, where we've got more produced shorts coming up. We've got our merchandise store. Don't forget, listen, we haven't talked about this the entire time we've been here, but there are only 7 days left to get registered for the Talking Trek Cruise giveaway. We are, in fact, giving away a free cruise that if you're here for the first time, if you've never heard of our channel, you could win an absolutely free cruise aboard Star Trek The Cruise, porting out of Miami in February 2025.
You and a friend.
You and a friend. Not just you, but you and a buddy. All right, you get to go on this free Star Trek convention cruise, the unconventional cruise, porting out of Miami, Florida in February of 2025, and there's only 7 days left to get registered for that contest. Details are on our website.
Big event on Saturday.
Big event on Saturday. By the way, he's cowtailing now on the 24-hour stream, guys.
Yeah, we're not doing it.
See? I told you I didn't want to do it. He said to do it, and now he doesn't want to do it no more.
I heard that you get to actually share a room with UltimatDJz on this cruise.
Oh,
as
no,
well.
I have that privilege.
Not true.
You share. It's a single bed inside of this cruise.
No. You have 7 days left to get registered for that amazing content giveaway. And official rules are available on our website at TalkingTrekSTFC.com. For all of us here at the Talking Trek podcast, I'd like to thank you for being a part of our live studio audience. Talking Trek is a registered trademark and recorded in front of a live studio audience for distribution across podcast platforms everywhere. I am UltimatDJz, your friendly neighborhood cat person saying meow for now. Love you, minute. Catch ya on the next one. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.